I'd like to call to order our City Council regular meeting of Tuesday, March 17th, 2026. We're going to begin with a pledge to the flag led by Natalie Berger of Manhattan Academy.
Put your right hand over your heart, face the flag, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hold on just a moment. Well done. We'd like to invite your principal, Ms. Robley. Robley, can you tell us a little bit about how you came to choose Natalie to lead us in the pledge tonight?
Absolutely. Yes. So we chose Natalie as our representative to lead the Pledge of Allegiance this evening because she is not only an exceptional student, but also a wonderful friend. She is the president of our student council and leads the group with grace. She listens, she is thoughtful, and she understands the art of compromise, which is pretty good for a fifth grader. She possesses the skills of a critical thinker, and her commitment to bridging the communication gap between students and the administration while maintaining a positive and proactive attitude is inspiring. So we are so proud to have her represent Manhattan Academy tonight.
One sec, Natalie. So real quick, first and foremost, is there anybody here with you besides your principal that you'd like to identify tonight?
My mom.
Is she there? There she is. Fantastic. So on behalf of the entire City Council, we have a certificate for you. And we have a city pin. And we'd love to get a photograph with you. So, tonight we have a special treat. The Maricosta Orchestra, or band, is with us tonight in advance of a community announcement of an upcoming event, and they're going to perform the national anthem for us, like you're at a ball game. Wait. Thank you very much. In a few moments, you're going to hear why they're here from our band director, because there's an upcoming concert on March 27th, which we'll explain about in just a few minutes. But let's start our meeting out, and we'll begin with the roll call. Thank you again to the band for being here tonight. Madam City Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Tarnay.
Here.
Councilmember Sherillian.
Here.
Councilmember Howard.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Here.
Mayor Lesser.
Here. We move on to our one ceremonial calendar item tonight, and it is a proclamation declaring March 26th as Purple Day. Purple Day is a global initiative to raise awareness about epilepsy and support those who've been affected by it. Epilepsy is a neurologic condition characterized by recurrent, unprovoked seizures. 1 in 10 people will have a seizure in their lifetime, and 1 in 26 will develop epilepsy. We as a community have been touched by the recent loss of one of our own residents to the condition. Ryan James, a graduate of Meadows Elementary, our middle school, Mira Costa. Ryan passed while he was a freshman this last November at UCLA. Family members and friends describe how he did not want to be defined by his condition. He was an excellent scholar, he was an accomplished athlete, he was on the Model UN team, and he was actively involved in our community. This past weekend, more than 200 of Ryan's family members, friends, former teammates participated in the Epilepsy Los Angeles Walk at the Rose Bowl. As fate would have it, Purple Day, March 26th, falls on Ryan's birthday. Tonight, through this ceremonial item, we're bringing awareness to the condition of epilepsy and offering support. Tonight, we have Ryan's father, Chris, who's going to talk a little bit about Ryan as we remember him and talk a little bit about epilepsy. Chris? We could all stand up. Yeah. Thank you. Would you like the slides?
Yeah, if you could just put those slide up there would be great.
Thank you.
For a second. Sorry, you're better at this than I am. Well, first I want to thank you, Mayor Lesser, and the city council members for allowing us to speak for a moment and for proclaiming March 26th as Purple Day, or in other words, Epilepsy Awareness Day. Also want to thank, I see some first responders in here. I know you guys are trained in seizure response, and several of you have been to our house in the last decade or two, and we can't thank you enough for what you do for our community and for helping us and people with similar situations. And we want to thank Ryan's teammates and our friends and family for being here. Your support these last few months have been the only thing that have gotten us through. So as Mayor Lesser said, Purple Day is International Epilepsy Awareness Day. A young girl, Cassidy Megan, created the day in 2008, motivated by her struggles with epilepsy. Her goal was to get people to start talking about epilepsy in an effort to dispel myths and to let those who are living with epilepsy know that they are not alone. As Mayor Lesser indicated, and I think a lot of people in this community know, epilepsy is particularly relevant to our family, and this day is near to our hearts as our son Ryan was personally impacted by epilepsy almost his entire life, having been diagnosed when he was just 6 months old. His seizures were largely controlled with medication and amazing doctors, but sadly 5 months ago we lost Ryan to sudden unexplained death from epilepsy. In other words, also known as SUDEP. And coincidentally, Ryan's birthday was also March 26. He would have been 19 next week.
One of the reasons why Purple Day was created was because there's there's myths, and not enough people talk about epilepsy. And many people think that epilepsy is so rare and that it's never going to infect you or anyone you know. And as Mayor Lesser always said, and it's a very well-known statistic in our epilepsy world, that 1 in 26 people will be diagnosed with epilepsy in their lifetime. 1 in 10 have a seizure. More than 3.4 million people in the U.S. live with epilepsy. 65 million people around the world live with epilepsy. And every year, more than 1 in 1,000 people living with epilepsy will pass away from SUDEP, sudden unexpected death in epilepsy. The problem is, again, not enough people talk about it, and that's why Purple Day was founded. And so on March 26th, Purple Day, there's some things we can all do. Wear purple and tell people why you're wearing purple. And I'm going to try to reach out to the schools to see if we can get all the kids to wear purple. But tell other people why. Read and learn about epilepsy. Share it with others. An excellent resource is the Epilepsy Foundation website. Or just Google epilepsy, and you can learn so much. Use social media to post epilepsy statistics, facts. Learn seizure first aid. There is a really good chance at some point in your life you are going to see someone having a seizure, and there's a very specific way you need to take care of that person until the paramedics arrive. Dispel myths and stigma associated with epilepsy, and review materials that we may share in the community. In closing, I just want to say on Purple Day, let's not just wear the color purple. Let's embody the spirit of unity and purpose it represents. Whether you live with epilepsy, you know someone who has epilepsy, or it's to honor Ryan, or you just simply want to make a difference, this global movement offers a chance to take part in something bigger. Embrace knowledge, dispel myths, and ignite the conversation that can truly help improve people's lives. Together, we can light the path to a brighter, more inclusive future for everyone affected by seizures and keep Ryan's spirit of helping others alive. Thank you so much.
Nancy, I didn't introduce you initially. I thought it was just going to be Chris. This is Ryan's mom. Thank you both for being here. We have a certificate. How can we best raise awareness beyond doing events like this?
I mean, honestly, like Nancy said this, you will see someone having a seizure. If it hasn't happened yet, you will. There's a few simple steps. I mean, you protect their head, you call 911, you roll them on them side, and you make sure that they have a clean airway. You do not put anything in their mouth. That is a myth. Please don't do that. And just make sure that they're in a safe position. And again, just talking about epilepsy, I know that, it's so common, but we don't talk about it, so people who have epilepsy feel this stigma and that they're ostracized, and it's not necessary. We talk about so many other neurological conditions. We need to talk about this. Thank you.
Tonight we are. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Again, we have a certificate, which is just a small token, but maybe we can get a picture with my council colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just have move on with our agenda to item E, approval of the agenda and waiver of full reading of ordinances. Is there a motion? There's a motion by Councilmember Charnay with a second by Councilmember Haworth. Call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. We now move on to City Council and Community Organization announcements of upcoming events for up to 1 minute per person. If you would like to provide information from your seat, just simply raise your hand or let the clerk know, and we can bring a microphone to you. Is there anybody who would care to make a 1 minute community announcement in chambers? And we'll take a moment for the council chambers to clear.
I hope all those kids heard about the band concert coming up.
So I think we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Yeah.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm Cassandra from the Manhattan Beach Library. I just have one program I wanted to plug for you guys. It is tomorrow for teens, 4 p.m., and you are going to be painting bobbleheads. So the idea is that you're going to make a miniature you in little bobblehead form. So we still have plenty of space, so any teens that would be interested in painting their own bobblehead, I'm looking at the teens. Please come out tomorrow at 4. Thank you.
Thank you.
About 15-3.
15-3.
Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, city officials, Martha, Coach Bobby, WM, Outreach and Educator. Just wanted to give you guys an update. New change in our recycling. Your plastic cup from Starbucks, they're plastic number 5, and paper cups from Starbucks or anywhere else are now recyclable. Please dry them out, throw the liquids out, take the straws and the cap off. Those unfortunately will still go to the landfill, but in the time being, we are now accepting the plastic cups and the paper cups.
Okay.
That's all I got. Wishing you guys all God's blessings.
Thank you. That's great. Quick question, Bobby. Bobby, you almost got away, but there's one question for you.
What's up, Mr. Franklin?
The hand protectors or whatever from the heat, are those also?
Those are, yeah, they are cardboard, so they're good to go in. If they're contaminated.
Sleeves.
The sleeves, that big word, I couldn't come up with it. If you contaminate that, or if it gets coffee on it, it can go in the organics.
Okay.
So it's a win-win. That does not have to go to the
So
landfill.
I have a trick question for you, I
Okay.
guess, and that is, why the change, or what is the basis for
There
the change,
is
which is
an
welcome?
upcoming law change that's coming in about plastic wrap and things like that. But the truth of it, I think, is we found a market for it.
Great.
So normally, it's 1, 3, and 7 are recyclable because there's a large market for those to be sold to. But now there's a market for 5, so we're collecting all those, and we'll take care of them.
Can we get that graphic for social media?
Sure, I'll send it over to Anna.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
Thank you, Bob.
Hello, Carol Patterson, Manhattan Beach Boulevard, and I'm here to enthusiastically invite you to attend Manhattan Beach Community Church's production of Fiddler on the Roof. It will open this weekend, Friday and Saturday at 7:30, with a matinee at 2 on Sunday, and the same schedule for the following weekend. Hope many of you will come. It is a very heartfelt production, and we are very excited for the opening. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Are there any other members of the community or public that would like to address council for a community announcement in chamber?
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm just here to remind everybody about the upcoming 28th Street Stormwater Infiltration Project Community Outreach Meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. I'll repeat that again, 7 p.m. Is the start time over here at the Jocelyn Community Center. Oh, sorry. My name is Eddie Petch, the project manager for 28th Street. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And might there be a community announcement about a certain upcoming Maricosta band concert?
This is the time. Drum roll, please.
Is there a graphic?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Lesser, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. It's a joy to come and represent the Maricosta bands. I'd like to also just thank you as a fellow Maricostian for taking the time to honor the James family. It's been a significant event in the lives of Maricosta. So, but tonight it is my privilege to address this body for the first time in 6 years. We were here 6 years ago, announcing our intention to represent not just Maricosta, not just Manhattan Beach, but indeed all of California at the National Concert Band Festival Invitational, hosted by Pershing Zone, one of the 3 elite Army bands in the nation and filled with the world's best musicians. They host this competition annually, and we were all set to go in 2020, and we had announced that to the council, and you were helping us to promote it to the city, our fundraising festival and send-off concert Costa to the Capitol. Unfortunately, we all know what happened next in 2020, and we did not have the opportunity to travel there at that point in time, but we were able to re-engage those plans in 2022. Due to COVID restrictions, we were not able to readdress the council and much less invite the whole city to come out and enjoy the ensemble's preparations. But we did actually walk away from that festival as the champions of the National Concert Band Festival and brought home the President's Cup. And so we're very excited to have received that. Since then, it's been a pleasure to have Mayor Pro Tem Franklin with us just 2 years ago after we had won the National Jazz Festival. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw it in there. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Howarth, for having actually presented us a proclamation, what was it, 12 years ago when we won the Grammy Award.
I was a baby.
Yeah, exactly. I could barely toddle on the stage. I remember. It was incredible to see you hold up the certificate. And so on March 27th here, not this Friday, but next Friday, we have the opportunity to invite our whole city and hopefully excite our whole city about Costa to the Capitol, part 2, although we're leaving that off. It is just Costa to the Capitol. We'll be performing all of the music that is being prepared for this year's National Concert Band Festival and Jazz Showcase. I would like to leave as many flyers as I can for the community here that may be posted around. Tomorrow we begin a campaign sending all of our members out with flyers here into the community to excite the city and to bring everybody out. It's going to be a wonderful concert featuring the required piece for this year, Andrew Boyson Jr.'s Revolutionary. All of the bands at the festival will be asked to play that in honor of the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Music for Concord, 1775 is the subtitle. I'd like to just briefly invite up our student co-president of the bands just to share just a minute with his thoughts and excitements for the trip. Mr. Samuel Rodriguez, please.
Thank you for having us. And as you introduced me, Samuel Rodriguez. And we've been working really hard this semester with this literature, which is beyond college level, and it's been a great educational opportunity for us as students and for just like a way for us all to collaborate and have a section out of our day to work with each other as a team. We've been dedicated to this really hard. We've been practicing outside of school. We've been practicing in our school's office hours where we just have free time. Instead, we're, as a class, together working on this. And, of course, every day in class. And so this effort that we're putting towards is for you guys to put an amazing show on for the 27th and for DC. And I think that's all.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll be leaving some flyers up out here, and I'll leave one here with our representative.
Thank
you. Hope you can join us on the 27th. Thank you again.
March 27th, 7 p.m. at the Maricosta High School Auditorium.
Mr. Mayor.
Yet, I believe Councilmember Howard.
Yes, thank you. I actually remember when I presented that certificate, I believe I choked up because it was in the auditorium and I had had so much experience being on the school board and watching you. He was a baby too at some point. And it's such a special program. And I just want to share, I was back in the back room having some quick dinner before the meeting was starting, and the jazz ensemble, or a few members, were out here setting up, and there was a lot of setup, and they had to, do the sound check and everything, and I'm in the back, and I hear one of them, and I think it was you, I recognize your voice, say, now, does anybody need some help with something? How can I help you? And I thought, oh my God, that's a teenager. And I just thought, wow, there's a lot of hope for the world. It was just, in addition to the tension and all the stuff that was going on, how can I help? So way to go, y'all.
Wonderful.
Let's go. Yay, band.
I should get them back to their studies and even to rehearsal. So thank you so much for having us this evening.
Councilmember Schroen, did you
I do. Can we Can we send these kids to DC with some Manhattan Beach lapel pins?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So there's been a request to give them lapel pins. Why don't we do that? Actually, you're here now. I'm going to exercise my prerogative, the powerful prerogative I have as mayor, to offer lapel pins at the suggestion of Councilmember
Sorry.
Sharoyan. Thank you all for being here. If you excuse me 1 second, then we'll get back.
Sorry, I jumped
Stay
up.
there. We'll do it.
I'm like, of course they could have pins. Here's a pin, but you got to wear them sometimes.
Representative?
Great idea.
Great idea.
Great idea, but you're not doing anything.
It's a mayor pro tem thing.
I don't know.
Differential.
We were ready.
Yes.
I was ready.
Yes. As he's the first one to jump on.
Everybody go watch them. Your tickets help send them.
I know how.
Will you guys have to drive the instruments across the country again? Is that how you do it still?
No, we fly now.
Really? Well, I remember John O'Shiro loading up a van and like driving, yeah, wow. Yeah, okay. Wow. Wow.
Thank you
Sorry,
all.
David. I was.
Okay. All right. Proceeding with City Council and Community Organization announcements of upcoming events. Is there anybody else in the council chambers that would like to make a community announcement? If not, Martha, is anybody on Zoom that would like to make a community announcement?
No request on Zoom.
All right, in which case, I will turn to my council colleagues. Any announcements? I have two. First, I have for myself, I have an upcoming coffee with the mayor. Let's see if I can see it. There we go. This is on Friday, April 3rd at 9 a.m. in the Metlocks Plaza. This is an opportunity for members of the public to come down and raise issues that they have specific for themselves or larger policy issues involving the city. I look forward to having a conversation. Please feel free to come down and bring a beverage of your choice. Next, Martha, if you could turn the slide to just the plain slide. This will be our last meeting with our Deputy City Clerk, Martha Alvarez. Excuse me? Assistant City, thank you, Assistant City Clerk. Martha, you've been with the city for 10 years. You've helped our City Clerk, Lisa Tamura, manage these meetings. She's been the one that often receives calls that come in or on Zoom, particularly during the pandemic. You played a critical role where you made it possible for these meetings to continue. I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to you and your professionalism and your work, and we wish you all the best in your next chapter. Any other colleagues of Madam City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity. I also wanted to thank Assistant City Clerk Martha Alvarez for her 10 years of dedicated, persistent, diligent service to the city. It didn't go unnoticed, Martha, and you will truly be missed.
Thank you. I think some colleagues would like to make a few words, Councilmember Howard.
Absolutely. I'm so very happy for you getting to work in Hermosa Beach with a better role. You deserve it. You have worked hard. You have grown in your role, and we have depended on you for a lot here. And you're kind of quiet. I don't know if people realize that you're very quiet, but there's so much that you do and provide, and you really will be missed. But I'm really so happy and so proud for you, or proud of you. So congratulations.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem
Please.
Frank.
Okay. So Martha, so I think I started about 5 years ago, so maybe halfway into your, term here, or your working here, and you helped me so much. As many meetings that I come to, before I got elected, and the committees I was on, and everything like that, the process of running for city council and the like, you were there to help me and to help others. And I just want to say you've done it with total professionalism, and you always got back to us in time, and in a timely manner. And so thank you so much. We know where to find you now. So if it doesn't work out, we know where you are. Take care.
Thank you, Mayor. Martha, I've had the pleasure of working with you on both sides of the dais. You know, you stay cool, you get hundreds upon hundreds of PRAs. You're able to manage and multitask, and Hermosa is very lucky to get you and as their city clerk. And, you know, we're still close, and if you need anything, you can give us a call. But thank you for everything you've done for us.
Councilmember Tarnay.
Martha. I've told her privately that I'm not going to try not to take offense to the fact that I joined council and she's leaving. But it's been really wonderful working with you this past year, and I've just appreciated all the help that you've given me. I wish it could have been longer, but I'm glad that you're not going very far, and that, you know, we might see you around because some other people in this room that you're connected to might still pull you back. But good luck, and I'm so excited for you. The future is bright over there in Hermosa with you, working and helping them and using the skills that you've acquired here. So thank you, and good luck. Best of luck.
Martha, again, I mean, maybe we'll just take a moment. You're going to still be here for the rest of the meeting, but I want to give you So just for a little bit of levity.
Oh, do you want a pen?
Now you get the Martha, we'll get the new one for you too.
Well earned.
It's got to be placed above the Hermosa pin. That's all.
Moving on with our agenda, we move on to G, public comments. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address any item that's within our subject matter jurisdiction for up to 3 minutes. If you would like to speak from your seat, please raise your hand or come down to the city clerk, and we can bring you a microphone. Please, members of the public chamber that would like to make a public comment. I'll just simply add that if you care to speak on an item that's already on the agenda coming up, we ask that you pick either speak now or speak when the item's pulled.
Martha, I didn't know. Congratulations. Otherwise, I would have had a pen or something as well for you. Good evening, City Council, Mayor Lesser, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. My name is Scott Anderson, and I am with class member of this year's Leadership Manhattan Beach, class of 2026. I'm here to represent with my classmates. Our project idea is on the consent calendar this evening, and so we are hoping for approval. So I just wanted to give a little plug for that while I'm up here. Our project, you may or may not know, it's called Iron Rails to Green Trails, and it celebrates the transition of the Santa Fe rail line that used to run down the Greenbelt for nearly 100 years. It's been that long. And then it turned into the vibrant Veterans Parkway that we know now, that so many people enjoy every day. And I wish, I was going to say, if the cross-country team was here, I can't imagine just the Miracosta cross-country team alone, how many miles they put on that Greenbelt since the train tracks have been removed. So it's pretty amazing. We've been talking about our project with some other adult groups. I know the Manhattan Beach Community Church. We did an event last week where we had a slideshow and talked about our project. We've had some members here who, with an adult group, discussion group over at Jocelyn Center just this week, talking about the project, and it gets people very excited because we hear all sorts of stories that just get conjured up by people who remember them. So that's been a lot of fun to hear. As well as when we spoke to the Manhattan Beach Historical Society, they got very excited, and they've been very helpful in all the research we're doing on the photos we're using and the stories that we're telling. Mark Lehman is probably in the house somewhere. Mark, thank you to you and the Parks and Rec team and the city staff for all the extra time we've asked a lot of questions. You've even come to site surveys, figuring out the perfect place to put this sign just across from the Jocelyn Center on an ADA compliant walkway just off the wood chips so people can enjoy it and see it and learn about the history while they're there. We had a very successful Wet Your Whistle fundraising event on Thursday that with over 120 people, we more than doubled, or almost doubled, the amount of money we were hoping to get. And I just want to thank some of the people. So the word has gotten out about this this project, and it is exciting people. Mayor Lesser, you were there, so we appreciate you taking your time to support us. Some business leaders, I don't know if I see them here, but Jill Lampkin, Kelly Stroman. I see other Leadership Manhattan Beach alumni here. I know there's some of you up on the dais. And our sponsors, Love MB, and the MB 10K committee was very helpful with a nice check to support our project. So thank you for your time and your support. Appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah.
Other members of the public care to make public comment?
Good evening, Mayor Lesser and council members. First of all, I'm very proud of our current class of Leadership Manhattan Beach for the project they have. So I truly hope we get full endorsement. It's a wonderful project to the benefit of Manhattan Beach. I'm here to, there's 3 items on the consent calendar that I think deserve a little bit of extra attention. The first one is item number 8, the approval of the agreement with Gensler. I'm a little surprised that this is a consent item and even on the agenda at this point in time. I did attend the Planning Commission meeting last week, and that was being discussed in that meeting. A lot of topics were discussed there that I think affect the decision on how to move forward, including discussions relative, should we actually keep these 2 projects together? Does it make sense to split Union Bank off and have that separate because we haven't finished discussions on the Vons situation? Because if we start on Vons, then we'd have to redo probably everything on, the 400, the Union Bank building. Secondly, I may have missed this. I've missed one of the meetings recently. Was this competitively bid? Whoever gets this first piece is going to be in running to win any further design work. So I'd just like to understand if that was competitively bid. And I thought we were going to do something more than what was represented in the scope of work here. It sounds like we're not doing a task force similar to what we did with outdoor dining. We're doing the charrettes, and it just, I'm a little confused by how that came to be along those lines. So I'm just interested in knowing that. And in full disclosure, as you guys know, I'm on the Parking and Public Improvements Commission. What I didn't see in the scope of services document is some of the input relative to what are the requirements for parking. I made the point in the Planning Commission meeting is that in the parking study, there was a study done to say this was the need of parking to meet maximum demand at the peak. That's not what we have to do. We, as a community, still have to decide what we want to do. So that is a key input to this whole process, and I didn't see where that plays into this document. Oh boy, 52 seconds. Second reading of the item number 10, I went through the PowerPoint, and in there it says there's 2 options being discussed, but I didn't see which one was being used here, going to be presented. Option number 12, this is where we have an increase of $1.873 million for the Manhattan Beach Dominguez Channel stormwater infiltration. That's just a big number. And I think the public deserves to hear a little bit more details on that, including there is a transfer of $676,000 from the storm drain fund project to this, and I don't know what impact that would have. So I think that warrants a little discussion with the public. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that would care to address council at this time?
Hello, everyone. My name is Annette Mejia. I am on the board for the Manhattan Beach Historical Society. I am also the proud owner of 2820 Highland, the #1 historic landmark home for the city. And I just hope you approve tonight the project for the Iron Rails to Green Trails project. It's very important for me and so many people that live in Manhattan Beach, come to Manhattan Beach to see some part of the history of the city. So I hope you approve that tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that care to address council at this time? Yep. Good evening.
Mayor Lesser, Honorable Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and City Council members, good evening.
My name is Fred Taylor. I'm a Vietnam veteran. I've lived in Manhattan Beach for half of 1 century this year. I'm here to weigh in on our police department. Basically, being a freedom and liberty guy, I love law enforcement, and I want to support you guys fully. The main function of government, going back to our founding, is to protect the citizens and protect our stuff. So police is foundational to that end, and I want to encourage you, if you were on the defund the police bandwagon a couple years ago, to just revisit your perspective. I've done some quick math. If we have about 65 officers working 40 hours a week, that gives us about 2,600 man-hours per week available. And if 15% of these hours were dedicated to administration and desk work, we would have some 2,200 hours left for our 4 city zones. We're about 550 man-hours per zone per week. I'm a numbers geek. So in the course of a week, we have each zone covered about 3.2 times, or about 3 officers could be on duty around the clock. My question is, where are they? Aside from 3 specific incidents recently in East Manhattan, an accident, and I know there was a house robbery, gun standoff down the street, and so on. But aside from those, I rarely ever see a uniformed officer walking around the city. The last time I saw officers downtown was during COVID, and it was, I think, a couple guys on bicycles. Many years ago, I went to Israel, and on most street corners, a military officer was on duty with an M16 because they had a Palestinian threat. But that's what's called deterrence. Paul WAIVER recently calculated that we pay $1.9 million in overtime. My second question, why so much overtime? But quite frankly, we could actually hire 17 recruit officers with that overtime. So we don't really need a $300,000 deputy chief. We need more officers on the street and a re-examination of our strategy so that officers are actually visible throughout the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deb. Are there any other members of the public in chambers that would like to address council?
Yes, Ray Joseph. They don't follow you because you're one of the good guys. Now, me, they're always going. So, a couple of things. I heard that in the mansion tax, a huge portion of that money is going to law firms. So I was thinking for the building impact fees, if we could put money aside to battle these high rises coming into town, if we could make that part of the impact fees, so we can have funds to either, put towards, fighting for ballots to go on the initiative to block these kind of projects from coming into town and that sort of thing. That would be a really, really great move to be able to do something like that, because, if we use those funds for something that's really going to help battle all this stuff. The other concern is, if you look at all the proposed projects that they'll push our population over 35,000, which will kick in SB 79, then we're going to have this stuff everywhere. So it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. So we've really got to come up with a really good strategic plan for doing that. So yeah, if we could do things like that, that'd be really great. And then on the plastic stuff, I read articles way back that the original plastic bags were designed to be more environmentally friendly because they took a lot less bulk and transportation costs and, and cutting down trees and all that sort of thing than the paper bags. And then the new plastic bags, to use one of the plastic bags, not me. So for the plastic bags, you have to use those 42 times to be equivalent to the old plastic bags. And then if you use a cotton bag, you have to use it 1,100 times, the equivalent. And if it's organic cotton, then 22,000 times. What turned me off about the bag ban way back is I had a neighbor who was in failing health, and he would use a cloth bag that would rub up against his legs. He had open sores, and he never washed the bags. And they were stained beyond belief. If you ever talk to the cashiers in grocery stores and whatnot, they'll tell you some of the bags come in there stink like beyond belief. People leave them in the trunks of their cars. They've seen cockroaches run out of them. So I really like having clean bags to put my food in. Call me crazy. And then, like for restaurants, some, let them have some choice, because nothing worse than getting some food and then it spills all over your car because it goes through the paper. So just a different perspective. But thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Okay, any other members of the public that care to address council at this time? Seeing none, Martha, is anybody on Zoom that would like to make a public comment?
Yes, we have James Upchurch.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. I assume you can hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. You can probably guess the topics which I'd like to hit on briefly tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Pesh for mentioning the upcoming Thursday meeting, the community meeting regarding the 28th Street project, which you made in the earlier comment this evening. I'd just like to raise a few points going to that meeting, and unfortunately, I will not be able to attend. So I have formally submitted technical questions to the Public Works Department regarding the project, and those technical questions relate primarily to the underground boring in front of our homes and the real-time vibration monitoring and pre-construction surveys that need to be done in advance of construction to protect our properties. These are required activities, and I just would ask the council's support in ensuring that the questions get answered and that these surveys and monitoring processes and procedures get put into place. So I would appreciate that. Then I'd also like to make a couple other quick comments. The first comment just relates to the meeting itself, and it is something that it has bothered me. It may not seem like a big deal, but it's further evidence of what I consider to be a little bit of a lack of awareness of the concerns of the residents. And where I'm going with this is the original notice of that meeting came out showing a meeting time from 8 to 8:30. So 1.5 hour meeting, community meeting for one of the largest projects ever undertaken. So obviously we all pushed back very quickly, said that's way too short. So then the meeting was extended for another 1/2 hour to an hour. And then finally it was extended to an hour and a half. And then we all got a postcard that says, you spoke and we listened. The meeting's been extended to an hour and a half. That's kind of condescending when that meeting should have been 2 hours from the beginning, and we had to push and complain to get something done that should have been done at the beginning. So this just typifies the whole process we've been going through in the 28th Street project. We're looking for evidence that should make us feel confident that things are going to go well, and we just don't see it. We are still in the dark, and ground is ready to be broken 3 weeks from now. Manhattan Avenue is about to be shut down, and we still are in the dark. So it's very frustrating, and I hope you all can appreciate that. Now, the last comment I'd make, I just found this information recently, and hopefully council was aware of this, and hopefully public works staff was aware of this. But there's been reference to the Baldwin Park project that the Zusser company did that was used as a referral and reference source for the city approving Zusser as the contractor. The one thing I didn't realize was that CWE was hired by Baldwin Park as the construction inspection manager. So they were there charged with inspecting and monitoring Zusser's work. CWE is very qualified. Katie Harrell is an excellent engineer. They are a good firm, and they are your consultant on this project. They have been totally absent in the whole Zusser discussion. I have not heard one reference to anybody saying, CWE, you should know Zusser better than anybody. What do you think? So maybe that went on. Maybe council's aware of it. Maybe staff's aware of it, but I've heard not one word. So I would like to know if those conversations actually happened and if CWE actually provided a positive reference on Zesser.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Oster.
all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
There's no additional request on Zoom.
In which case, I will close public comment, and I'd like to turn to the city manager, if I could, before we vote on the consent calendar, to just briefly address, there were some questions that were raised about item number 8, for example, the award of the Gensler contract. Can you briefly address the question as to whether this was competitively bid, what went into that decision?
Yes, in the staff report, we have detailed that it was competitively bid and that we had about 13, I believe, responses, and that the responses were vetted by a team that was put together by the city staff. And Gensler came out on top after the review was conducted.
Great. There was a reference to item number 10, which has to do with the second reading and the adoption of an ordinance related to plastic carryout bags, and there was a question as to which of the options were picked.
Council directed us to go with option A at the last council meeting, so that was what was included in the ordinance.
Great. And then finally, item number 12 has to do with the consideration of a resolution awarding an amendment to a professional design services agreement with Geotechnic Consultants related to the Manhattan Beach Dominguez Channel Stormwater Infiltration Project. I think the question there was just it was a large project. Can you just briefly explain what it is for those members of the public in case the colleagues do not want to pull it?
Yes, for that, I will defer to our interim public works director, Joe DeFrancesco.
Would it be easier if I pulled the item, colleagues?
This is fine.
Okay, you may proceed.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of City Council. Joe DeFrancesco, Interim Public Works Director. I'm going to ask our Senior Engineer, Eddie Petch, to come forward. He should be able to address the questions.
Thank you, Joe. Could you reiterate your question again?
I think there was a question by a member of the public about the scope of what this project is. There's an awful lot in the staff report itself. I think clearly the speaker was most concerned with the scale of the project and felt it should perhaps not be on consent. But can you just briefly summarize what the project is?
Yeah, so the project is a regulatory compliance project for the Dominguez Channel. If the public's not aware or the council's not aware, we're at the top end or high end of the Dominguez Channel runoff related to stormwater. The low end is the Alondra multi-benefit project that's occurring right now over at Alondra Park. So we're required to essentially get the runoff in compliance in the coming years here. It's a multi-agency effort. All our beach city partners are part of it, and this is just one component of the overall compliance effort.
Okay. Thank you. And if members of the public that are watching this proceeding tonight have further questions, this is described in the city staff report that is listed as item number 12 that is on a consent calendar. Madam City Clerk,
I just also want to qualify, this isn't the first time the council's seeing that item. It's just that we're now awarding the contract.
Great. Yes. Okay. With that, we then move on to the item H, the consent calendar. Is there a motion? See if there is a motion by Councilmember Shuruyan, and the motion is
to approve the consent items.
And it has been seconded by Councilmember Charnay. Without comment, call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Great. Thank you. Thank you to all. Thank you to the leadership and Manhattan Beach class.
Sounds like a cool project, honestly.
No items removed from the city council consent calendar, in which case we move on to item J, our public hearings. Item number 13 is a coastal development permit and temporary use permits for the 2026-2031 Manhattan Beach Open Volleyball Tournaments, etc. I'll let city staff describe the full scope of what's before us when they get to the guys.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Lesser, members of the City Council, Mark Lehman, your Parks and Recreation Director, and Senior Recreation Supervisor Archie Sherman will be presenting this item. But I did want to just take a quick moment to give you an overview regarding volleyball events within the City of Manhattan Beach. So as you're aware, the proposed agreement before you this evening is with the ADP. We've worked closely with them over the last 6 months as a long-term partner. Separately, we have had discussions with the AVP and USA Volleyball. regarding the Olympics and long-term options for the Manhattan Beach Open. So we will continue to work with leadership from both organizations moving forward, and we will keep you updated. So with that, I will turn it over to Archie to give the presentation. Great, thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, Archie Sherman, Senior Rec Supervisor, Parks and Rec. As Director Lehman mentioned, the item before you this evening is seeking approval for the coastal development and temporary use permit for the Manhattan Beach Open volleyball tournament, commonly referred to as the MBO. Approval of a special permit for limited alcoholic beverage use at the MBO and an agreement with AVP to operate the Manhattan Beach Open. On February 23rd, the Parks and Recreation Commission unanimously approved these three items. The commission provided positive feedback, including the overall event setup and management, stadium court returning to the standard pier-side setup with a horseshoe shape that made it viewable on the pier. Large turnout of teams that entered into the Thursday qualifier in the annual Walk of Champions pier plaque ceremony. The Parks Commission also shared that they would like to see more food and beverage options in the VIP section, which staff has been in discussions with AVP. Last year's event marked the 64th Manhattan Beach Open. It was the 38th year that the city has partnered with the AVP to operate the MBO. The operation teams was able to streamline the build out to lessen the impact on the parking and traffic in the downtown area by freeing up 2 more days starting load in that Sunday. Previous years had started on Friday with the load out. And in fact, last year we even did the load in on Sunday with the build on Monday. We had 145 teams that played in the Thursday qualifier. 145 teams is a large number for an event, and that's one of these things that makes it so special to the Manhattan Beach Open, is people call it the granddaddy of beach volleyball, the large qualifier that we hold in having 8 participants in each male and female division move into the main draw. Anybody could sign up. I could sign up. I wouldn't make it, but that's one of the things that contributes to the Wimbledon of beach volleyball, the granddaddy of beach volleyball, is that kind of turnout that we get for the qualifier. With that, the 8 teams will advance into the main draw, which starts the following Friday. Each division will have 32 teams in their bracket, which is the largest bracket that AVP puts on. Last year, staff worked with AVP to expand the bike corral, which keeps growing. The main draw took place that Friday through Sunday, where live streaming was available throughout the entire event on Bally's network, and the finals being aired on national TV for both the men's and women's final. For this year's Manhattan Beach Open, AVP is proposing a similar stadium court setup as last year, which would line up against the south side of the Manhattan Pier. West and north side bleachers would be general admission, with sandbox seats and south bleachers being ticketed. The qualifier and Walk of Champions pier plaque ceremony will be held on Thursday, August 13th. The ceremony will be honoring the 2025 winners, Chase Budinger, Miles Evan, and Taryn Brasher and Kristen Cruz. Main draw for this year is scheduled to take place August 14th through 16th. 2026 would be an AVP Heritage Major event, meaning it's their largest prize purse for any event. In addition, AVP will also be hosting approximately 100 youth teams for their All-American Junior Invitational, which will take place on Saturday and Sunday. These teams qualified through other AVP regional championships throughout the country. City staff and AVP will work in partnership with the Downtown Business and Professional Association to explore potential options for community events during the MBO. Some of these that took place in the past have been movie nights on the beach, sunrise yoga, and sunset beach party. We also have been in discussions with AVP about providing additional food and beverage options in the VIP deck, as well as potential of working with our local restaurants. And on the slide deck here is the stadium court with the 3 outer courts, which all consist within the main draw event, which will be Saturday through Sunday. What you don't see on this to the right, which would be south of the pier, would be about approximately 12 or 13 additional volleyball courts that will be for the qualifier on Thursday, and then Saturday and Sunday's youth event. In conclusion, staff recommends the adoption of resolution number 260026, approving a coastal development permit and temporary use permits for the 26th through 31 Manhattan Beach Open volleyball tournament scheduled annually the third weekend in August, to approve a special permit for limited alcoholic beverage use in the VIP bleacher seating area and concierge deck adjacent to Stadium Court, and to adopt resolution number 260027, approving an agreement with the Association of Volleyball Professionals to operate the MBO 2026 through 2028. That concludes the presentation. Staff is here for any questions, and we also have representatives from AVP as well. Bobby Corvino, Commissioner and Chief Operating Officer, and Josh Glazebrook, Senior Vice President of Operations. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Council colleagues, questions for city staff? Councilmember Sherrillian.
Thank you, Mayor. Archie, well done on this presentation and everything that you do for the Manhattan Beach Open. It's a big undertaking, and it's almost like it didn't happen. Great oversight. So how many people come to this event on an annual basis, on average? Just your estimation, just from Thursday to Sunday.
Total, I mean, seating capacity, I think we're in the range of about 3,000 per day. But obviously that doesn't include the pier attendees, the Strand attendees, the outer court attendees.
And how have you
that number's
found
in the thousands.
How have you found that capacity? Kind of, is there any room for additional capacity, or is it just right?
It's just right about now, I would say. To remind everyone, going back about 10 or so years ago, we actually had 4 rows of volleyball courts in each row. About 10 years ago, we lost that, and we've been down to 3 rows, and we're fighting to keep that 3rd row of courts. There's a lot of beach erosion there, and in fact, not just coming easterly, but as well as underneath the pier as well. So that's been hampering the build-out process for a lot of the stadium court.
Great, thank you.
Built.
Thank you. Councilmember Charnay.
Thank you, Archie. I just have a couple of questions to start. So I know that I've attended many of the AVP, the MBO events over the past few years, and I have noticed that attendance has, and correct me if I'm wrong, public attendance has seemed to be waning a bit, and I'm wondering if there is anything that's being done going forward to bring back some of those spectators and vendors. I've also noticed that vendors' involvement have been way down, the vendor booths all around, just on the lower courts as well. So are there any efforts being made to increase vendor participation and spectators' participation?
Absolutely. And those are conversations we've been having currently. We really want to bring back that involvement with downtown businesses. And with regards to the vendors as well, how can we incorporate more of Manhattan Beach vendors to be down there? With the fan capacity, it's funny because we went through a hurricane a few years ago. And then there's times, when there's colder weather and, it just doesn't get the turnout that, it does. But when that sun comes out, people flock down there.
I definitely appreciate that. I know, it's weather dependent, but as far as, I know we're ramping up in the next, for LA 2028. Is there a vision within AVP that we're going to really increase the production value of what the MBO is? Or are we just staying the course? We're going to do the same thing we've done every year leading up to the Olympics?
I could defer that to AVP if we'd like to, more knowledge.
Sure, if you can. Yeah, please.
Bobby Corvino.
Lesser, and evening, members of the council. Can you repeat your question, do you mind?
Just leading up, we
Sure.
know that the LA 28 is coming, up in a couple of years. And the MBO event is the week after the Olympics, as I understand it. Are we doing anything differently for the MBO events leading up to the Olympics? Or is the plan just to keep everything the same as we've done it in the past?
Well, we've been very thoughtful in our approach to the event, and we're certainly open to working with the city and other partners within the beach volleyball community to see how we can appropriately scale the event and prepare for the event in LA 2028.
Okay. And then as far as just some of the conversations I've had with people in the community who are in the volleyball world is just questions that they had is, will TV and exposure, PR exposure be the same? Is it going to change for the next coming few years?
Mm-hmm. Well, right now, the AVP is in the middle of a multi-year television contract with the CW network for the Manhattan Beach Open. So that is this year and most likely again next year. So we'll be able to revisit that moving into 28 season post-Olympics. So that is our goal, and to continue to ramp up sponsorship with our enhanced television coverage.
Okay, so the plan is to increase coverage, increase visibility for the event?
Yes.
Okay. And then, will you be having the same draws, the same draw max? And then also, is there any change over the prize money in the next few years?
Sure, yes. So the Manhattan Beach Open is our largest tournament, which is 32 duos per gender. So that is going to be consistent with our plan moving in perpetuity. Okay. And as far as the prize money, I mean, we've been very consistent. This is our largest prize money of any event we have. As the event hopefully scales up and we have continued support from our sponsors, we certainly would evaluate increasing the prize money as well, but it's not going to go down.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Mayor Pro Tem Franklin?
Yes, thank you. So I think, Archie, you might be able to answer this, but I want to thank you for your presentation or for your answers. Gentleman behind you. I want to thank you for your answers. So Archie, on the site plan, slide number 5.
Yes.
Please, if we can take a look at that. The orientation of there is, there's a row of stands actually on top of the pier, right? Or, on the pier walkway.
Correct.
Okay, and so then there's, I think, a shorter grandstand right to the south of it.
Correct.
Okay, so can everybody on the pier see over?
Yes.
That one to the south?
Yes, and when I spoke previously about the beach, there's kind of it's expanding there. There's more of a gap because of the runoff right there. But those are bleachers on the pier that we brought down from our local parks, and it was a return to the old school. We used to do that years ago, and you could see sitting in those over into Stadium Court, absolutely.
And also, and those are open to the public,
Correct.
right? They can, and then on the pier, are there viewing areas? So if someone is, you see where the wheelchair indicator there on
Correct.
the pier steps? So in that sort of section there, can they see over all the stands on the west side there? Or I'm sorry, on the north side? Can they see when they're standing on the pier?
Yeah, if you're not seated in those seats on the pier, if you're in the front row, the only thing that would block you is if someone else is on the railing in front of you,
Right.
if you're shorter or
Okay.
anything. But there's really no unobstructed view from the pier, which was, it was good to return to that.
Okay, great.
Old
I just
viewing.
wanted to make sure of that. Thank you.
Archie, my question goes to comparing the now expired 3-year agreement with the proposed new 5-year agreement. And in your presentation, you identified a few of the various changes, but maybe I just want to have a better understanding of why a 5-year agreement as opposed to a 3-year. what is in that consideration?
For the coastal, or?
I thought the agreement that's proposed is from 2026 to 2031.
Let me clarify. It's a 6-year coastal
Six-year
CDP and TUP permit.
Got it.
And a 3-year agreement with AVP.
Are there any other elements that the council and the public should be aware of in terms of how the expiring agreement compares with the new one?
So the new one, a couple changes. So there is 3-year agreement with the option to opt out after 1 year, and then a 3-year addition in single years, year 4, year 5, year 6. This all goes back to our history of, we normally run a coastal permit for 3 years.
That's brilliant. Okay.
Simultaneously with our 3-year agreements with AVP and our building plan in ComDev as well.
Thank you. Councilmember Howard?
Yeah, thank you. Hi, Archie. Okay, so so Councilmember Turner was speaking of maybe declining attendance and talked about weather. And I don't have a sense, I don't know if it says in the report how many people attended this year versus last year. Do we have those numbers? Just in terms of this, obviously you can't control the pier and stuff like that, but do we have numbers for attendees?
For last year, I don't.
Because it would be helpful to see that, like, over the years, like, even not just last year and the year before,
Agree.
right?
I think 2 years ago, we did the NEO tracking
Okay,
with the 6-man and the
right. But we
MBO.
should be able to look at how many tickets or something, right? Like, just to see, because,
for ticketing. We
yeah,
could get
for
that
ticketing.
info
Like, you
and
can't
follow up.
see how many people maybe are going through the free, whatever you call it, expo around it, or the pier, but how many tickets you're selling. I'd be curious on that. And then I think I'm curious, well, I know I'm curious about, like, the VIP area there that's kind of on the east, near, closest to the bike path. How is that footprint? Now, I know that's what the footprint was last year, correct?
Mhm. Correct.
Okay. And then is there an additional, oh no, that's a player area. How is that different? Is it more or less than years past in terms of capacity for VIP?
In previous years, we would do the L shape that encroached over the
Bike path.
bike path, and that
Right.
created 2 VIP areas. You've gone away with that to kind of lessen the load on the load in and the build,
Okay.
to be fewer days. And
I mean, I'm just curious. I want to know. I'm curious about the whole VIP aspect. I mean, I know that we have to, or not we, the AVP would have to have that to help with, costs and, sponsorships, et cetera. But I am curious as to what's the capacity of VIP? What's the capacity of the paid tickets, and what's the capacity of the public tickets? And is there any way to increase capacity at all? Is it truly just the beach and under the pier erosion, which was so interesting? I didn't know that. Like, is that really hurting us in terms of capacity?
each year it changes, and we have to
Really?
validate and get dimensions set
Really?
before the build.
Wow, I see.
I just wanted to jump in briefly. So as you may know, ticket sales are limited to 25% of total attendance. And so the ticket sales themselves are sold out each year, every day.
So 25% of the seating is by ticket.
Correct.
So is 75% public, or,
Correct.
but how much of what about the VIP? Is that part of the tickets, the 25%?
Correct. The VIP area as well as the box seats is how it's calculated for 25% of the total capacity.
Okay.
And those are, again, sold out each day.
And that's why it's challenging to count attendance, because so many of the tickets are, so much of the attendance is not ticketed.
True, well, only 25%. No, 75%, sorry, gotcha. Because the 75% is the public. Okay, sorry, okay, that's very helpful.
And I apologize. I just wanted, just quickly, I just wanted to also mention, just speaking about the scale in general of this, I think this, from what we've heard from the community, this is the sweet spot. And as we've kind of tried a few different setups, I think we got a lot of pushback when you weren't able to view from the pier. So I think this
100%.
is the nice balance for load in, load out, impact, overall impact, and still having that kind of old school community feel, but still allowing viewing from the pier.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think I have another question here, but that makes a lot of sense. So number of fans, that's really helpful. The build out. So the erosion is is it just a different thing every year, or is it steadily getting worse every year? Is actually what I want to know.
It hasn't been improving. That's for sure.
Hasn't been improving.
And every year, there are a lot of stakeholders involved with this, and one of them is the LA County lifeguards. And so the biggest goal we have to, on the west side of the beach, is work with the lifeguards to keep their emergency driving lane over, and that's been coming further east.
Okay. It's really helpful to hear about the 75-25 split. I do remember that now. That is important. There was one other thing, but there you go. That's all I got right now.
Councilmember Charnay.
Yes, thank you. Archie, would you mind just giving us a brief overview of the partnership between AVP and the MBO event, and whether or not we've ever had it produced by any other organizations?
It's been, like I said, 38 years. I think it started in 1984, I would like to say. And then there was, in 2010, AVP dropped out last second, and the city actually took that on. And someone's in the crowd tonight who actually was our tournament director.
Yes.
Hi, Jay.
And then we worked with Jose Corvo, or IMG Productions, for the following 2 years. And then AVP came back in 2014, I want to say.
And has the process for just contracting for the event only been with AVP? Have there been other organizations that have reached out expressing interest in helping the city produce the event?
Not for the Manhattan Beach Open.
Okay.
But for other tournaments.
Okay.
There's been others, yeah.
Thank you.
Question? All right. If not, thank you. This is a public hearing, so I will now open the public hearing, except there is a question.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Member
I'm so sorry. The question was, and I think I know the answer, but so there's the coastal development permit happens regardless of who's doing it, right? So the coastal development permit for however many years is its own separate thing, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's what I need to know. Thank you.
Okay. This is a public hearing. I'll open the public hearing for public comment. Any member of the public care to come down and comment on this item? 2 minutes in chambers.
Honorable Mayor, City Council members. Good to see you again. I was going to stay quiet on this, but I did want to make a comment. My name is John Spross, CEO of USA Volleyball, and we certainly are interested in the future of the sport. And so we wanted to understand and made some connections in early October about exactly what the plan was on this contract, which I know you're now voting on. So we reached out to the city, and I connected with Mark and had a meeting with Mark, and definitely put our hat in the ring to say, hey, we're interested in running this event. It was communicated to us from Mark, which I totally understood, that we should have some communication with Bobby and the AVP. And we did that, and I've had some good conversations with Bobby. As the AVP has looked at their future model for how they're moving forward, and this was communicated clearly with Bobby, we have a responsibility as USA Volleyball to prepare our athletes for the Olympic Games. First and foremost, it's a real priority for us, as well as just serving the community and growing the game. We also are very interested in the LA 28 moment. It's as big as it's ever going to get for our sport, and we're incredibly excited about it. Archie was right. This is the Wimbledon, the granddaddy of them all. This is the best tournament, and we really have tremendous respect for what you have here as an asset that the city owns. And we wanted to almost give what you would say first right of refusal to the city to say, how do you want to be involved with LA 28? and how do you want to be involved in that process, which we have the ability to facilitate. So as it was stated here, that has there ever been, to your question about has anybody ever demonstrated interest in this event, that was expressed clearly to the city in October. And USAV would like to continue this conversation about how we can operate this event because it fits the model of how this event should look for the Olympic athletes. The AVP is moving more to a league and has now termed these types of events as heritage events. That's not our view. We view these events as the sport and the future of the sport. It's not our heritage, it's our present, it is our future. And you, the city, have the pinnacle event of those types of opportunities. So as we look forward to what we can do as USA Volleyball, we think we have a role to further the sport in this format because it serves the Olympic model and the communities of volleyball that play this game. So I just wanted to amend the record to let it state that we definitely clearly communicated with the city in early October. Thank you.
Thank you. And for members of the public, I did misspeak. I said 2 minutes. In fact, it's 3 minutes for a public hearing item if any member of the public would like to address this item. Any further comments, those that are in chamber, please?
Jake, I've dressed up.
Evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Jay Parker Sakeley. My father was Charlie Sakeley, the person who started the Manhattan Beach Open in 1960. It was run by the city of Manhattan Beach up until about 1982 when the AVP started to be formed, and he continued to run the qualifier and the event through 1990. In 2010, when the AVP folded, I had the wonderful opportunity in the 50th anniversary of the tournament to make an ode to where it came from, run old school event with the long courts and the leather volleyball. That was a wonderful event. I just am here to speak tonight on behalf of the city and the relationship with the AVP, to continue to work with them to create and keep alive the Wimbledon of beach volleyball, something that I do hold in my heart. It was a family, it's been my family for a long time. And the relationship's been there too. To this day, I still reinstall the volleyball posts every year after the AVP leaves. So you get about one day when you see no courts out there, and then a day or two later, they're all put back exactly in the same place. So that's been a long-standing relationship with the AVP and the city of Manhattan Beach, something that I used to do with my father when he was still here. And keeping those relationships within the city, I think, is very important. That's about all I have to say.
Great. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Any other members of the public in chamber that would care to address this item? Martha, is anybody on Zoom who would like to speak to this item?
No request on Zoom.
In which case, I'll close public comment, public hearing. Colleagues, Councilmember Charney, did you want to speak for?
Oh, that was from earlier.
That's from
So I don't
earlier.
have more.
To get us started, I do see that there is a motion proposed by Mayor Pro Tem Franklin. Do you want to state the motion for
Yes,
starting our
The
conversation?
motion would be to adopt resolution number 26-0026, approving the coastal development permit and temporary use permits, approve a special permit for limited alcoholic beverage use, and adopt resolution number 26-0027, approving an agreement.
Great. And I see that has been seconded by Councilmember Sherrillian. Colleagues,
Well,
anyone want to speak?
I'm wondering if our director wants to say.
I apologize. I just wanted to take a moment to clarify something. And so USA Volleyball did express interest, and the direction from myself as well as the team has been ongoing discussions with AVP, because I think that is the model that we're looking for the beach community, for the volleyball players, for the sport itself. We want people to work together, right? Each person has their own skill set, right, that they can contribute to make the sport better, to help the players more, to build a better community for Manhattan Beach, the granddaddy of everyone. And so that was the direction. The other direction was a specific proposal. We don't have a proposal from USA Volleyball. We need a specific proposal. How are you going to load in? How are you going to load out? What date? What time? who's going to be playing, what's the impact on the community. And so we have not received that. If we receive that as any other major special event, we would run that through the special event permit process. So I just wanted to provide clarity on what those communications were and what I have directed in terms of our conversations.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Chardonnay.
Thank you. I just wanted to say, first of all, I really appreciate the partnership with AVP. My family, we're all big volleyball fans. My daughter played, and my husband still plays, as he calls it, old man volleyball. So we're big fans. Having said that, I think this is a great opportunity for us to look at how the event, MBO is like the crown jewel of our city as far as the events, any event goes. And I think it's an opportunity for us to look at how we produce the event and what's in the best interest of our city and the public. One of my big concerns, in the past was accessibility for parents and students and the athletes, the young athletes who are developing in the community. That's, for me, paramount, right? The historical, thank you, Mr. Sigley, for speaking today, because that's so important to me, is that we're a breeding ground for world-class volleyball athletes. And I want us to continue to be that going in the future. And with the Olympics, LA 28, looming just a couple of years, it's going to fly by. I want us to be able to work towards that and put forward the best product. And so I know there is a motion on the floor right now, if you would entertain a friendly amendment and limiting it to 1 year for this, for right now, and continuing the conversation. I'd like to hear more about what we're doing that's going to be different, that's going to be forward-looking and opportunities, hopefully, for the different organizations to work collaboratively, because I think there is a history for both to have a place in this, if not MBO, at least just volleyball in Manhattan Beach in general and LA 28. And so that would be my suggested friendly amendment.
I'm inclined not to do that, because this is the history here of working with AVP and the teams, and they know how to set this up and everything like that. I would say, let's go ahead and proceed with this and vote on this, and then just, maybe we can do some sort of study on what could be done. From what I understand, we have no involvement, right, with the Olympics. I mean, it's going to be, the volleyball is going to be where?
Our athletes are going to be all involved.
But in terms of the location.
We also might be having practices here.
We
so
will be.
Yes.
Teams are renting
Teams are
homes
renting
for the
space
month
here. So we will
before.
be a big part of the
That's fine.
Olympics.
There's plenty of room on the beach to do that. I just don't see why we should interrupt, what has been, constructed over many, many years. I mean, you see these people set this up. It is
absolutely.
It is a amazing transformation in a very short period of time. So I don't know if we can vote with the friendly amendment, or just
at this moment, you as the maker of the moment, that maker of the motion are declining the friendly amendment, and I see Councilmember Haworth would like to make a comment, and then I have a question for staff.
Yeah, no, I have a comment, and I think that what I heard, and Director Lehman, it's a 3-year contract, but every year we have the right to opt out.
That's correct.
So that's built in. So I would suggest, and I actually agree with the makers of the motion that, it's been a good relationship, it's been a good history, but I think we have somebody here saying, hey, let's make this even better. So let's see what happens. Let's make this better. I think I really appreciate the community flavor of what has been created thus far. I think that but looking towards the Olympics is important. So hopefully, it seems to me that American Volleyball, that's the name of is developing players, right? I think trying to protect the future of the sport. It's about the players. It's about coaching. It's about that culture and community. And I'd like to see some, some participation or tie-in if there's a nexus there, like that could be really good for our community as well. So I'm good with the motion because there is an out. If we don't love it, then whatever, but I have faith that we will. I just want to say, I don't play volleyball, no one in my family does, and we are not, I am not birthing athletic greats, but I value tradition, and I value the community soul, if you will. The other thing I do want to say, Councilmember Franklin, I'm just going to say it, or I'm sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, there's a lot going to be happening here during the Olympics, whether we do anything or not. There are already teams looking, renting homes.
It's wonderful.
Well, I hope so, but I mean, we are going to be, we need to show them that we welcome these volleyball players, that this is the place they want to be, and we want them here. This is where they want to come, so it does matter.
Terrific.
For my comments, I actually have a question, and I want to ask the city manager. So this goes back to the question of the term. What's being proposed, and there's now a motion on the floor, which is for, at a minimum, a 3-year term. Is that correct?
It's a 3-year term for the agreement with AVP. However, there is an option that we built in for the city to be able to opt out.
Opt out after what period of time?
After 1 year.
After 1 year.
1 year. That's what I wanted to clarify.
Yes. As long as we give 180 days notice.
Okay, that's what I want.
So it's 180 days notice, and I'm just wondering how that might impact television rights, negotiation for streaming online. Is that something that perhaps AVP is looking to use as a basis for its contracting? And I just wanted to better understand the implications of reducing it from 3 years to 1.
My understanding from what Bobby mentioned earlier is that they have an agreement with CW for this year and next year.
So, okay. Okay, thank you. But again, the motion on the floor is still for the 3-year term. Thank you. Councilmember Sherman.
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate what my colleague said, and this, being former employee, there's always an out in an agreement, so it's just a matter of the amount of time that's required prior to the end of the 1 year. But as Director Lehman said, we have a protocol in place. If we get someone to submit a special event, it goes through the protocol, it gets vetted, and then it may or may not come to council, but ultimately we'll see something if the team and staff gets a chance to take a look at it. So as Director Lehman mentioned, that has not happened. So what's in front of us is this tradition that we have, and, that's the only comments I have.
Great. I think from my closing comments, I'm in support of this relationship that we've had. It's a true big part of our community, this relationship that we've had over many years. I'm receptive to new proposals, but they have to be specific. I think to address Parks and Rec Director's comments, we need a specific proposal. This has to go through the Coastal Commission. We have to have specificity, but for now, this is what's in favor of it, so I'm in favor. I will be in favor. Call for the question.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, colleagues. Have a break, stand in recess, 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Councilor Red.
Pegasus, can we go live?
Thank you. I'd like to call back to order our City Council meeting of March 17th, and we proceed now with item number 14, which is a consideration and introduction of an ordinance amending Section 10.90.060 of the Manhattan Beach Municipal Code to specify that public art funds may be used for performance arts and other forms of art.
Good evening, Mayor Lesser and members of the City Council. The staff report for the draft ordinance will be provided by Senior Planner Ted Futuros. Eric Brinkman from the Parks and Recreation Department is also here tonight.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Ted Futuros, Senior Planner here in the City's Planning Division, and I'm here to present for your consideration a zone text amendment to modify the types of public art that may be funded by the City's Art and Public Places program. Starting with some background, the city's art in public places fee is located in Chapter 10.90 of the Manhattan Beach Municipal Code, and the fee funds works of art placed in public places or incorporated into public buildings, art education programs, or art display programs. The fee is equal to 1% of the eligible project's building valuation, and the fee has been part of the municipal code since 2002. The city's Parks and Recreation program proposed to amend section MBMC 10.90.060 to modify the allowable projects and activities that can be funded with this fee, specifically to expand the types of media that can be funded, and then to also allow the funding of performances. The Planning Commission reviewed this request and unanimously approved the recommendation to the council to adopt this ordinance. The reason the Planning Commission even reviewed the item is because this fee exists in Title 10 of the Municipal Code, and that's the Planning and Zoning title, and the Planning Commission has jurisdiction over that title. This is the proposed language. I'll quickly read it. It says 10.90060, use of funds. Fees collected pursuant to this section may be used to fund works of art placed in public places or incorporated into public buildings, including but not limited to sculpture, sound installations, video, film, audio, digital, hybrid, and other emerging art forms, performances presented by professional or amateur performers, art education programs, art display and exhibition programs, and other works of art approved by the City Council. The proposed code amendment is exempt from CEQA, and the ordinance goes into the details of that exemption. This public hearing was noticed in the local paper, and the city did receive a public comment from an individual who expressed opposition to the proposed code amendment. The same individual also gave a comment to the Planning Commission, also expressing opposition. That concludes my presentation. Staff recommends that the City Council conduct a public hearing and introduce ordinance number 26-0006, amending MBMC section 10.90060 to expand the types of public art that may be funded by the city's Art in Public Places program. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have, and as Director Alkire said, we also have members of the Parks and Rec department who can answer any questions as well. Great, thank you.
Thank you, Ted. I'm going to start out with some questions, and I actually have questions more for our arts manager. Eric, can you state your full name and title for?
Sure, yeah. My name's Eric Brinkman. I'm Senior Recreation Supervisor for Cultural Arts.
So my questions go to public art piece side of this, and that has to do, what is the current budget for our Public Arts Trust Fund? And I'm sorry I didn't notify you in advance that I'd be asking.
Sure, I have that handy. Just 1 second. Yeah, so the approximate trust fund balance is $1.6 million. That leaves an allocated balance of approximately 1 million and an unallocated balance of approximately 6 million, or sorry, 600,000, excuse me.
Thank you. The Cultural Arts Commission, are they not reviewing our arts master plan at the current time as part of their work plan?
Yeah, that's correct. It's not quite kicked off right now, but it will be in the coming months, yes.
So how does this action align with wanting our Cultural Arts Commission to explore our arts master plan? Granted, council doesn't have to allocate funds for anything other than works of public art that fall within the master plan, but why would we be doing this at this time now?
So it's to broaden access and, you know, align with industry standards. There's a lot of cities such as West Hollywood, Santa Monica, Culver City that have amended their ordinances to include these new and emerging types of media and particularly performing arts.
I guess the challenge that I have, and I frame this as a question, is how might the modification affect the ability and the capacity of the city to buy more significant works of public art, which was the whole point of this fund?
So, again, I want to state that any of these projects will still have to follow the same protocol, which will be vetted by first the commission, and then any allocation from the Public Art Fund would have to be approved by City Council. So again, it's just giving us flexibility to explore different options in public art realm outside of physical static art works of art. Which was the focus when this ordinance was first adopted in 2002, but the public art landscape has changed dramatically in that time, and we want to stay abreast to these new and emerging opportunities of art to serve more people, frankly.
Forgive me, but I have to push back. So how has this landscape changed?
So, yeah, there's so many different types of new and emerging artworks. Temporary artworks are very popular now. It allows you to respond to cultural moments. I mean, we have LA 28 coming up. That would give this the ability to have these activations within the city to capitalize on these cultural moments. Digital art is also a huge emerging art form. It allows you to reach more people than just having this singular static piece of artwork. So that's a couple of examples.
And there would not be funding sources for these other works other than our general fund? Is that what this is really about? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
If I may, Mayor Lesser, add to your earlier question about the balance, I'd just like to remind the council that that balance over the next year is going to increase tremendously due to the lineup of projects that are in plan check right now.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much, Eric. Appreciate it. Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Yes, to that question, City Manager Mirzakhanian, I mean, what will those numbers look like?
I don't have an estimate available at this moment, but it's 1% of the valuation of each project. That's what's written into the code.
Okay. But we don't have even a projected number on that.
Not right now. I could get you that, though.
Okay. And the status of these new projects, they could go or not go? I mean, I know they're submitting plans and things like that, but.
That is correct. So if a building permit can't be issued without the collection of the fee. So if they pull a building permit, that means they're going to have to pay the fee.
Okay, so they can do all the planning and everything, and then when they pull the permit, that's when it's due.
Correct.
Okay. So we don't have any idea, like, what it's going to look like next fiscal year or the fiscal year after that?
I can give you an example of one of the ROD projects that's in the pipeline. It would be $500,000 essentially.
Okay, for the one project?
Yes.
Okay. Pulling permits might take place when for that project?
That I don't know. I'd have to check to see where they are, how many plan check rounds they've completed. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, great. And so on the programming and the like, and the other forms, of art, I didn't see like specific examples, in terms of what, other than a physical statue or piece of art, what would we be seeing exactly? I mean, if we have such a big amorphous, universe out there, I think it's our responsibility to kind of narrow it down a little bit, since this is a new way, a new path for us.
I believe we did build that into the report, Mayor, if you give me 1 second. I think concerts in the park is one of the examples that we pointed out.
Mhm.
Concerts in the park. That was one of the examples we pointed out in the staff report.
Okay, and that's funded now by what? By the,
General fund.
excuse me, I'm asking over here.
General
Okay,
fund.
well,
And I'm asking for the benefit of other people that may not know.
Okay.
Okay? So, so that's coming out of our general fund, and so this is an opportunity to take money from the Arts and Public Places Fund to partially fund, completely fund?
Either one.
Either one.
Ultimately, it would be up to the council.
Okay. Can we get, some other examples other than concerts in the park?
The Shakespeare series in the summer.
Okay. How is that usually organized? How is it paid for? How do they make money?
Yeah, that's paid for out of the general fund as well.
So right now, it comes out of our general fund, the Shakespeare in the Park, okay. And, I mean, what other kind of, I see dance in here, and I see, you talked about the temporary art and things like that. What kind of budget are these things? My concern is we're essentially down to 600,000 in allotable funds that we can allocate. Is like one project going to be $300,000 or?
So for temporary works of artworks, which is one of the things that we're considering, that would be a much lower price point, given the fact that they are temporary, they're not permanent, so they don't have to go through all of the design phase, the engineering requirements, and things like that. So just a much lower barrier to entry. In the performing arts realm, there's lots of different, media that you could be involved with. There's, film, music. That doesn't just have to be in concerts in the park. That can be in other facilities. So yeah, there's.
Okay. All right, thank you. No more questions.
Thank you. Councilmember Shruya.
Thank you, Mayor. Eric, couple of quick questions. Ted, thank you for the presentation. So allocated, we have $1 million, unallocated $600,000, and potentially maybe that amount next fiscal year. Of the $1 million allocated, is there a sunset on those funds? And if there is, what's the earliest sunset? Because I know these funds sunset.
Yes. So the next date for expirable funds that need to be allocated is $38,000, and that's in 2027.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's de minimis. Okay. Yeah. That's all I have for now. Thank you.
Councilmember Howard.
yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, council, would the proposed art still come to council for approval? So, even concerts in the park, it's not like we're not going to do concerts in the park, but would it come forward to say, we propose, paying for this way? So it would still come to council. So if there was going to be some sort of, oh, so sorry, I don't know why this is buzzing. Soccer scores. If there was some sort of art piece, some sort of, light up the Greenbelt art piece, that would still have to come to council, and we could ask our due diligence questions like, wait, have you thought about the neighbors? They don't want the Greenbelt lighting up at night. That would still come to council.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Any allocation would have to be approved by a council, yes.
Okay, so what you're saying is it's not like the commission says, oh, we definitely want to do different kinds of things. It's that if these great things come forward, they want to be able to consider them.
It's just widening our options.
Widening the options. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other council questions? If not, this is a public hearing item, and we'll open the public hearing to public comment. Any members of the public in chamber care to address this item?
I got to fight the crowds here tonight, I guess.
We
Good
missed
evening
you.
again, Mayor Lesser and council members. Stefan Kumpa here. Great topic, always, Ted. Great presentations. I think that it would be good to have, wise for us to have some definitions of what fits in here, because I think when we talk about what gets paid by what bucket of money, I think that'd be very helpful for guidance to the different councils and what comes to you. So is there some clarity around that? Two, I think something that is a concern I'm getting a feel for is, boy, if we give this, would we see a big shift to, the temporary art of what we call it? Maybe there's some conversation about, what percentage of our budget would we want to allocate to this or not. So maybe there's some guidance that the council could provide. And then I remember we had some conversations on maintaining our artwork. Does this have any impact to that, and how do we allocate that? So maybe there's some guidance when we talk about the budget that we kind of set guidelines and framework there. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that care to address this item?
Good evening, Mayor Lesser, Council. Marie Colmy. I'm here as a longtime resident of Manhattan Beach. And just wanted to speak very briefly in support of enhancing the language in the municipal code. I'm grateful for the code that we do have and the public art support that the community has, because I think it's such a big and vital and important part of our community. And I've appreciated council's support in that all the way along. And I think we're fortunate to have this. I support changing the language because I think it does help our community keep in step with current interest in times. I think, it would allow the city flexibility in offering different types of public art alternatives and hopefully touch a broader base of our community. I mean, that's what I'm interested in, touching more people and having an opportunity of engaging more people. And I think, broadening the language doesn't negatively impact our public art programming, but I think it would enrich the opportunities that we could consider. And it sends an important message that, we want to move forward and be proactive and provisionary with our public art programming. I don't think we're locked in. I think it sends an important positive message. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public that care to address this item in chamber? If not, Martha, is anybody on Zoom that would care to address this item?
No request on Zoom.
In which case, I'll close the public hearing, public comment on this item, and turn to council. Councilmember Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate where I think I hear some concern. I'm supportive of this, but what I think I'm hearing is, oh, maybe we won't end up with murals and paintings and sculptures if we do this. Maybe that's a concern. I thought Stefan's questions about definitions, maybe we want to provide definitions. I would rather keep it open for flexibility. However, I thought that was an interesting question, and that's my preference, but I thought that was interesting. But I also thought we could ask the Arts Commission to come back with a policy about balance, that the council could give direction that we do want to be sure that a certain majority of funding goes towards more permanent types of work if we wanted. And maybe we come back and discuss that or give direction to them to come back to us. I think that might give some people, maybe that could give more comfort. But I really do think that this is sort of an industry, if you call it an industry standard. It gives flexibility. There's more types of art today than there were 20, 30, 40 years ago, 10 years ago. It used to be that photography wasn't considered an art form, and Alfred Stieglitz had to, pound the pavement and, to get it into the museums and all of that. So I really, I love that we have this program. I love that there's most likely going to be pretty large contributions, if you will, made to these funds because of these, developments that are happening. And I think it would be wise for us to do this. It gives us flexibility. And You know, the more we can support art in our community, I think it enhances our community and the world around us. So I will be supporting this.
Thank you. Councilmember Charnay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just wanted to echo what my colleague just spoke about, is just, I appreciate staff coming up with this and really looking forward. I mean, it's about expanding what we know is art, and we've seen the evolution. I actually saw a recent segment on 60 Minutes about AI art, you know, the production of AI art, which wouldn't fit into any existing definition right now. So what I see with the proposal is flexibility without taking any control from our city. So I appreciate that the Arts Commission will be doing its part in vetting out the art, and I do like the suggestion of you know, having a discussion about the percentage of the types of art we want. And so those are helpful conversations, but I do think when it comes to art, more is better, and I'm not afraid of us losing control over it. Sounds like you all have a plan in place to make sure that we bring a tasteful, meaningful, impactful, thought-provoking art into our city. So I do have a motion to introduce Ordinance 26-0006.
And I see that has been seconded by Councilmember Haworth. For my own remarks, I come to a different conclusion. And I want to propose maybe a different pathway forward, subject to the context in which this is before our council as a public hearing item. I understand that with what's being proposed in the form of projects, there is going to be a larger sum that's going to come into our Art Places Fund. And as a result, staff is trying to be proactive and trying to anticipate other types of art. But I'm not ready to vote on this in its current form. This has not gone to our Cultural Arts Commission for any larger discussion. Presently, right now, we just heard that there's $1.6 million in this fund, of which $600,000 is currently unprogrammed. And the whole point of this original fund was to be able to purchase more substantive pieces of art that were more expensive, that would cost more, that would be more significant works of art. I want to better understand how this change might impact that. Yes, by simply voting in favor of this measure tonight, council is the ultimate decider of how the funds are going to be used. But it is in contrast to what the original point of this fund was when it was set up in 2002 and how it has operated for what's that, 24 years? Where it was intended to subsidize art, particularly fixed works of art, to enhance our city. So I'm not prepared to vote on it as it's presently presented. I'd like to have further discussion. I see our city manager would like to weigh in, and I also see Mayor Pro Tem Franklin would like to have a word.
I just wanted to add two pieces of clarification for the council to consider. The first is that as a part of the Arts Master Plan update, the commission is going to be considering definitions per se of what falls into this. So that is part of the effort already. And the second thing is that the city has an obligation to expend the funds that we receive through this program in 5 years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And if we don't expend those funds, then we have to return them to the developers. And so this also gives us an opportunity to ensure that we are expending those funds in a timely manner, and it just broadens our opportunities on which we could spend them.
I'd like to ask a follow-up if I could, Mayor. Sure. So could this be directed to the Cultural Arts Commission for a more global view on this before we're asked to just vote on it tonight to give the authority over?
It could, it would just delay the expenditures.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Okay, thank you. Our cultural art program is really amazing, with a few exceptions that my pelicans that we've talked about in the past. But it really is a great idea. There was great vision 24 years ago to find a way to fund this, to to make developers pay that money into this fund, and then we had a process by which we were going to go ahead and select art to display around the city. I appreciate, the deadlines and things like that, but if this were a business plan, and I were to say, where's your money coming from? Well, there's going to be these projects, and they're going to be happening, and we're going to be getting this money, later on. This is why I asked about, the money. This is why I asked about, where it's coming from. How, what would it look like? What are some of these projects? What would be the cost of these projects, and and their duration and things like that? I mean, it just I think we would be remiss if we go back to the group 24 years ago who had this great intention to do this. We would be remiss if we didn't provide the specificity. I'm sure they did then, of what I don't know. I didn't look in the archives, but that's what concerns me is that these big projects require capital. Capital markets are just roiling right now. Okay, we could have another 2008 and collapse that market, and then we wouldn't be seeing that money rolling in like we anticipate. Okay, so I just want to see more projections on what the money is coming in, more projections on what the projects are, so that we can just take our fiduciary responsibility and really delve into this so that there's no surprises. Also, too, it's been said that it's it's to be fund, it's to fund concerts in the park. Well, I mean, Parks and Recreation is part of the general funding and the like, and so should we examine those costs and maybe see what needs to be adjusted there? I know it's a beloved program and everything for the whole region, but what is its reliance on this fund, or what would its reliance be on this fund? So I just want to see some specific numbers so we can make a more informed decision.
Thank you. Councilmember Howard.
Yeah, I'm about to call for the question, but I want to point out this is no additional projects at this point. This is just if there are some projects that come up that the Cultural Arts Commission think are interesting and they want to promote to council, then we can consider them. This is not growing the budget of the commission of the Public Art Fund unless, money, this is not expending any more funds. So there's a few things that have been presented that just simply aren't factual. So I'm going to call for the question. I think that we're not putting anything on the Cultural Arts Commission that they can't handle. We're just giving them more flexibility. So I see there's another comment, but then I'd like to call for the question.
Councilmember Shree.
Thank you. Let me put my mic back on here. So currently, for example, the concerts in the park, those are funded through the general fund, but we typically try to go out and get donations. I guess that's a question for Eric. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're actively pursuing sponsorship, yeah.
So expanding, I forgot what it was, a couple of council meetings ago, maybe it was 3 or 4, we looked at a code that was dated, it was 40 or 50 years old, I don't remember. But, some of our codes need to be, maybe I think it was the business license, whichever one it was. Some of our codes are dated. They need to be looked at and they need to be expanded. They need to be refreshed to, more current definition of what reality is. And I appreciate what Stefan said about, seeing the line items in the sense of where the monies are coming from. But all the funds in this Public Arts Trust Fund are going to go through the Public Arts protocols and come to council and say, these are going to be funded by the Public Art Trust Funds. Do you want to do this project or not? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so all I see here is just expanding the municipal code, relieving the general fund where it can, and modernizing the definitions in the municipal code. I just can't see, and I appreciate what my colleagues have said, about maybe not being ready at this time, but I don't see, we're going to, the council body itself, whether it's us or a future council, is going to see every public art, whatever public art is going to be put forth, and the policymakers will make the decision whether it's a go or a no. So that's all I have.
Mr. Mayor, my apologies. Since you have a motion on the floor and a second, may I read the title of the ordinance?
So there is a motion on the floor, and there is a second, and you may proceed.
Thank you.
And do you want to identify yourself? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, yes, I'm so
earlier.
sorry. My name is Candace Lee, and I serve as Assistant City Attorney for Manhattan Beach.
Thank you, and I apologize for not introducing
No,
you.
not
earlier.
at all.
You may proceed.
I'll be reading by title ordinance number 26-0006, an ordinance of the City of Manhattan Beach, amending Manhattan Beach Municipal Code Section 10.90.060 to specify that public art funds may be used for the performance of arts and other forms of art and making a determination under the California Environmental Quality Act. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lee.
For the
Call for
question.
the question.
Motion passes 3-2. Mayor Lesser, Mayor Pro Tem Franklin voting no.
Thank you. I believe we now move on to our general business items. We move on to item number 15, which is a discussion of building permit discounts to qualified older adults for aging-in-place projects.
Right. Well, good evening again, members of the council. Masa Alakir, Community Development Director. Tonight's council-directed discussion, the staff report will be provided by our building official, Ryan Heiss.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, council members. Ryan Heiss, building official. Tonight, I'm here for the discussion of building permit discounts to qualified older adults for aging-in-place projects. So this item did come to council, or was brought up by council originally, and received 2 votes to move on to the next agenda. And at that agenda, it received 3 votes to be discussed tonight. So first, a discussion about what aging-in-place projects are. Aging-in-place refers to the ability of older adults to live in their own homes or familiar communities safely, independently, and comfortably as they age, without the need to move to assisted living or nursing facilities. Successful aging-in-place often requires modifications of the home in order to improve safety and accessibility. Examples of these types of projects are grab bars in bathrooms, ramps, elevators or chairlifts, widening doorways, and also improving lighting. The state did pass a bill that allows for local discretion rather than the state mandating a reduction in waiver fee program. There's no current registry for how many cities have taken advantage of that bill. However, staff has been unable to identify any local cities that currently have adopted those. We have checked with local cities, including El Segundo, Hermosa, Santa Monica, LA City, LA County, Culver City, Beverly Hills, Carson, Compton, Torrance, Redondo Beach. Existing law also does allow, though, for building permit fees to be reduced. The current building permit fees were adopted by City Council and implemented on July 1st, 2025. The building permit fees adopted specifically or specify full recovery, other than permits currently for solar panels and water heaters, which are set at City Council below the full cost recovery amount. There are also options qualified older adults for the Assembly bill are seniors of at least 60 with a qualifying disability. And the city does have the option to add in additional qualifiers, such as raising the minimum qualifying age, requiring the location to be the primary residence of the resident, raising or providing income thresholds, and also clarifying what scope of work. So there's current requirements since 2002 in the California Building Code to provide aging-in-place design on all new projects, as well as remodels or additions. And these are the similar types of projects, such as providing reinforcement for the installation of future grout bars in restrooms or bathrooms, adjusting receptacle outlet switch and control heights, having minimum interior door widths of bedrooms and bathrooms, specifying doorbell heights. And as a reminder, the costs for all of those improvements are included in the building permit that would be required for the associated work already. So there's no additional cost for that work, but it is required, and that requirement did continue on when we adopted the 2025 building code cycle recently. Additionally, the Manhattan Beach Municipal Code allows for reasonable accommodations from the strict application of the city's land use and zoning regulations. We receive few reasonable accommodations that are applied for. However, those that are granted are typically for elevators that are located outside of the normal allowable building envelope, and for ramps that would also extend beyond. As a reminder, with the recent user fee update, the City Council approved 100% subsidy for reasonable accommodation permits, the full cost of which was identified at $1,682.21. So residents may now apply for reasonable accommodation permits at no cost. Depending on what that request is, there may still be the cost of the building permit that does apply. There are multiple online locations and also in-person locations for seniors to obtain more information about grants and other subsidies for aging in place projects, as well as other assistance for seniors. And there are some potential challenges to adopting discounts for aging in place type projects. Some of those challenges could be a reduction in revenue because of the cost recovery for the permits. It would have to be offset by the general fund. Additionally, there would be an administrative burden to the permit technicians and those monitoring and ensuring that the projects that go through this if there was an adopted discount program, make sure that they apply and don't abuse the program. And also there would be an effort to make sure that if there was any program adopted, that there was efficient outreach and communication to ensure the community was aware of the program. In both the staff report and the PowerPoint presentation, it does mention that email was distributed to the Community Development Department email list. That email did not go out, but it was properly noticed in the agenda, and it was posted in accordance with the law. And staff is here tonight if you do have any questions during your discussion of this item.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, questions? Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. And thank you, thank you, staff, for doing a great job on this. I propose this because my wife and I went through a rather extensive remodel. And, because we had planned and talking about our future, we wanted to stay in our home. And we wanted to age in place. And, there was a lot of challenges that came across. First of all, it's just the energy to do it when you're an older adult. It's a daunting process. But it's really worthwhile because, aging in place is desirable in terms of, fitting into a budget. You're living on a fixed income. You got to figure out how you're going to pay some of these expenses. But so my question, I'll leave the further comments to later, but just wanted to thank you all for your consideration of it. Let's see. When you talked about the door width, there was slide number 5. And it talked about, so California Residential Code requires aging in place design. So if an older adult were going to be doing this, do they have to comply with all of that, or just on the work that's being done, throughout the house, or just on the work that's being done?
So anybody would have to comply with just the areas where the work is being done, whether they're an older adult or not. They would have to comply with only the area of work that's happening. So it doesn't expand beyond that area.
Okay, so
for residential, single-family residential.
Oh, okay, so in our case, we added a new bathroom, master bathroom, and so I just wanted to have an extra wide door just to accommodate a wheelchair.
Correct.
Would that have been required then?
Yes.
It would. Okay.
If you did it after 2020, January 1st, 2023.
2020, actually.
You
we did-
submitted after that time, yeah.
Yeah, actually, we did it before that. So,
There you go.
So we did, okay. All right, great. And so then you've got the electrical receptacle outlet switch and control height. So presumably they would be lower in order to accommodate someone?
So these requirements match the requirements for ADA that have been around for a long time. So it's basically, if you think about a wheelchair and the ability for somebody to reach out, they can't be too low and they can't be too high. So the doorbell, the switches, the electrical outlets, they're all in a certain reach range.
Okay, so again, it's if there's someone with an ADA requirement doing living in that home, I mean, then
It's
it
preparing
triggers?
for that, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. But if there isn't anybody that had, say you're 75 years old and you're not in a wheelchair or something like that, do you still have to lower the?
So if you're not doing any work, then there's no requirement. But if you're building a new home, or if you're doing a remodel like yourself, that did a new bathroom, that bathroom would have to meet all these requirements, and that's a state code.
Okay.
So that's already adopted. There's no change needed for that here tonight. And things like the grab bars are not required.
Mhm.
But what you have to do is you put the strengthening in the wall so that eventually you can screw grab bars on without having to demo the entire wall out. So
Right.
it's trying to prepare for changes in the future that may be.
Exactly. Well, we were ahead of the time.
You
so
were.
we did that. Okay, and then, but that's a qualified older adult in terms of this Assembly Bill 2023 is someone with a qualifying disability. But
Yeah,
as we-
so there's two different options. I mean, the state allows you to reduce specifically for those things, but also the fee schedule, you performed a fee study for the full cost recovery, and the council has the authority to reduce fees below, as you did with solar panels and other types of permits. You've reduced that.
Okay, I didn't really ask this in advance, but do we know how many homes are owned by, someone over the age of 60? I mean, how many in our housing stock, we have 13,000 plus homes.
I do not currently have
Yeah,
that
I'm,
information.
yeah. Okay. well,
Over
well,
60?
Over 60. yeah.
Okay.
I mean, who are over 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I do not currently have that information.
okay, so sorry, I didn't prepare, because I just want to see potential impact. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you.
Ryan, I think for my questions, has the city undertaken some form of advertising campaign or outreach to our older adult residents about what's currently in place, what current resources are available, including what's already been indicated? I know for myself, I'm the delegate to the Senior Advisory Committee, and this has not been a topic of conversation, and I would think, I just don't get the sense that there's an awareness of this based on some of the topics that have been on the agenda. Let's see, the city manager, did you want to?
Mayor, are you specifically asking about the reasonable accommodation permit, for
Yes.
example?
Yes.
I don't believe that there's been a presentation, but we're absolutely happy to do that.
So council could direct that we do that we start with that. I want to better understand the staff burden here. Is there staff capacity if we were to go forward and set up a permit program? And I think the legislation is actually AB 2123, not 2023.
You're
Is that
correct. In the staff reports 2123, the PowerPoint is incorrect. Thank you for
Correct.
noticing.
So help me understand what capacity there currently is among staff to handle a program like this. What would be involved? And I think community development obviously has some other responsibilities.
I'll take that question, Mayor Lesser. At this time, we don't have staff in community development who are trained in either assessing ADA qualifications or income verification, for that matter. My recommendation would be that if we do pursue a program like this, that we'd have to bring someone on contract to perform those duties, particularly because if you have planners or permit technicians doing this type of review, then that's really delaying them from all of the other permit work that they would be working on. And I don't think there's an appetite for that right now.
And the assumption would be, the goal would be to eliminate the cost that a permit applicant would pay, correct?
Correct, but we'd be incurring essentially the cost of the permit itself and then also whatever we're paying for the contract.
Okay. Thank you. I'm supportive of the idea, but concerned about the implications on our city staff. Any other council member questions at this point? Thank you. I'd like to open this item up for public comment. Any members of the public in chambers that would care to address this item?
Thank you, Ryan, for the presentation. Stefan Kumpa here once again. Great topic. I would just like to get a little clarification on what we're trying to achieve here. So are we trying to have older adults age in place and we're trying to get them to stay and take the action to do this? If so, there's a couple things here. It's learning what you need to do, what you can do, which is different than just discounting the permit. So it might be a broader thing that we want to talk about. If that's our goal, I want to hear what our goal is a little bit more on this piece here. The second one, and Ryan, I'm sure you can answer this very quickly, is reducing the permit fee is what percentage of a total cost of a project? So, you know, if I'm remodeling and it's going to cost me $20,000 to redo my bathroom, how much is my permit? If it's only $500, we're not having a meaningful impact there in the total cost. The meaningful impact would be is if we could actually provide a resource for aging adults to understand what they can do, how they can do it, and have more information. I think that might be a better way of helping our aging population. Living on 4th Street where almost everybody is over 60 years old, okay? I think it would be very nice for them to hear something like that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public in chambers that care to address this item? Seeing none, Martha. Anybody on Zoom?
Yes, we have Ray Joseph.
Hi. One of the things that's really important is speed. Because when my grandmother fell, when elderly people start falling, you're counting the days. And so when that happened, I immediately drove out to Simi Valley. I put railings up and down the hallways, everything everywhere, you know, so that way she would be, you know, safe. And, but it's a matter of how quickly things can be done. So we wouldn't want a long permitting process. We'd want something to move quickly because usually people on something like this are reacting to an elderly person that got injured that fell. And now they're trying to retrofit the house and do all the things because someone got injured. So speed is important on whatever we can do along these lines. You know, take care of our parents and whatnot. So that's my only input on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Phil. Anybody else on Zoom that care to address this item?
There's no other request on Zoom.
In which case, we'll close public comment and turn it over to council. Councilmember Khan. Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Okay, thank you, Mayor and colleagues. So I mentioned before our personal reasons for going through this. We definitely want to age in place, but the process can be rather daunting. So this is why I like the idea of a resource center, you know, for older adults. They can go ahead, and we certainly have many avenues to present this information to them. We've got the senior fair. I believe that's an annual event. We've got the older adults program. We've got the senior advisory committee. You know, like for example, they saw a need there to make older adults computer literate, and they got a great program for training. We get, you know, young folks involved with that as well. So something that's kind of there that can give them some advice. Why do it? Why not just sell the home, move them, and, you know, it's because that represents, you know, so much of a person's life that it's worth saving. It's worth having them feel the comfort of being in their home but making it safe for them. Hopefully, like Mr. Joseph said, you know, as far as a fall, is to prevent that fall so that it doesn't happen. The showers and things like that to have the bars in there, the extra wide doors, even without having a wheelchair, gives you a little bit more room, you know, to move about. it gives you options as an older adult to somehow maybe have people come into your home to take care of you. You know, there would be, you know, it would be set up so that that person can be there to help you. Or if it be a child or a grandchild or a cousin or somebody that moves in, you know, to make accommodations. I can just tell you from personal experience, it's daunting as you get older to do that. It's basically when you're doing a major remodel, it's like building a home. You know, we had to deal with some foundation work and things like that. And so we were fortunate enough that we could move out and have this work done and then come back to, you know, to our, you know, remodeled home. I'm also thinking on sort of a larger scale is, we've talked about this before, about the preservation of historic homes. Not saying that, you know, my home is historic, but it's a 1946, you know, beach bungalow with some, you know, modifications on it like that were done in the 60s and to give it a little bit more room. But that can, you know, but we're surrounded. It's like a cavern of all the new homes, which is fine. People have a right to build whatever they want, but we've talked before about preserving homes, and this is a way to do that for a period of time. You know, it also helps the family. I mean, it is very expensive to go to assisted living programs. I mean, it can be upwards of $10,000 a month. You know, that's $120,000 a year. And if you're going to live in them for 5 years, that could be, you know, any legacy amount that you were hoping to leave. But so I just wanted to expand the possibilities and the options for the older adults, and look forward to hearing your comments.
For my comments, I want to start by thanking you, Mayor Pro Tem Franklin, for bringing this item to our council and the intent and sincerity that's behind it, which is to help our older adult residents age in place. I think Councilmember Howarth and I have served on council when we adopted the Mills Act. The whole idea was exactly what you just suggested. It was to encourage residents to preserve their older homes because it provided some character to communities. Of course, one thinks about how housing law has changed in California. Let's just say that might not be the highest priority of our legislature right now, to preserve single-family dwellings that are older and smaller. But nonetheless, the intention behind this idea is, I think, a really good one. I'm concerned about the impact on our staff, particularly given all the other challenges which our staff currently places. And I'd like to better communicate the existing programs we already have, the current law that we already have, and make that the initial direction. I like your idea of some form of resource center to try and facilitate where older adults members of our community can find some of these resources and have it packaged in some way by city staff. But I'd like to give them a chance to try that first before we explore a discount on the fee program, which, as we just heard, would require an outside contractor, which would add costs, where the whole goal would be to reduce the cost of the fees that we get in return. So with that stated, I see other council members who'd like to speak. Councilmember Howarth.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to propose that we maybe we turn this over to the Senior Advisory Committee, and I forget who are you, Mr. Mayor, and you, the two of you, or just you? The
Yeah.
liaison, and maybe talk to them about how they think it would be best to communicate to residents, if they think that to their people, if they think that there's, maybe they would like to try to come up with some of the resources, and then it could be, you know, on the website or their website or our website, because I think that would be the most effective or efficient way to go about it. I hear that, I appreciate Stefan's question of what is the goal, and if the goal is to stay in a home, I'm not sure just the permit, you know, relaxing the permit fee is enough, right? I mean, there's a lot of other things, but maybe someday we could get there. But I think, first of all, let's work with the Senior Advisory Committee. What would be helpful? What resources do we know about? Do you know about? What do you need help with? And then, you know, like you say, there's the senior fair, et cetera. And I agree with the mayor that, wow, it's great that you brought this up, but I think that's the best way to proceed. And I think we just give direction. I don't think we need to make a motion for that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Any other
So-
council comments? So let me then confirm with the city manager. What would staff seek?
What I'm hearing is that there's an interest in staff working with the Senior Advisory Committee to understand how we can better make them aware of the resources that are available and what more information or assistance they might need, and we're happy to do that.
And I would also be in favor of some sort of packaging of what these programs are, consistent with what was started with the staff report tonight, to describe the resources that are already available for older adults.
She said,
Mhm.
yeah.
Correct.
All right.
Great.
With that, then, no motion, direction is sufficient, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just a moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Next, we move on to item number 16, which is consideration of the city's plans to celebrate America's 250th anniversary.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. Mark Lehman, your Parks and Recreation Director. So for this item, at the February 3rd City Council meeting, Council directed staff to explore programming ideas for America's 250th anniversary. So I'll run through each item, providing feasibility, staffing, and costs, and then seek direction from Council. So the first item is concert enhancements for the Salute to the Troops events. So the Satin Dolls will be kicking off the concert series, and so there was the option of adding a performance. And we have worked with military bands in the past, Marine, I believe Army bands in previous years, and they are free of charge if they are available. So again, based on City Council direction, we can reach out to them. Of course, along with that, we would need additional staffing based on the additional hours that were added to that for the stage management and just staffing the event in general. During the concert, we would also potentially add remarks from various speakers, and we could potentially recognize a poster contest winner, which was another item which we researched, and I will cover on the next slide. There'll be a tie-in.
Where is that?
Next up was the Tiger Squadron Flyover. This is a local group of pilots out of the Torrance Airport. So we did reach out to them. They are available. If council is interested in moving forward, we will reach out to them as early as tomorrow. The total would be $900, and that is not including insurance, so we'd still need to work out what that insurance rate would be for the flyover. Again, and that would include 3 flyovers with 3 planes.
And that's, sorry, on the Salute to the Troops concert?
Correct.
Okay.
Then moving on, participation by historical and patriotic organizations, both Sons of the American Revolution and Daughters of the American Revolution. So we, for the Sons, we were in contact with the Harbor chapter. They participate in a number of fairs and parades, and they were working to confirm their availability, but looks like they will be interested and available, as well as the Daughters, the Redondo Beach chapter expressed interest, and that could be participating with a booth or possibly wearing period attire and interacting with attendees. And then just as an aside, we also, the local scout troop did also reach out, and they're willing to assist in whatever role council directs them. Moving on to the parade along Manhattan Beach Boulevard. And this is similar to the Centennial celebration, but it would not be closing Sepulveda. This parade could involve civic organizations, schools, community groups. This is significant in terms of operational requirements. The details are attached to the staff report, so significant staffing, street closures, barriers, police department, fire department, CSC, public works. So we're looking at a cost of approximately $120,000 for the parade. One alternative route option suggested by Lieutenant Benjamin and traffic engineer Eric Zamfleet indicated that a parade route along Redondo Avenue between Marine and Manhattan Beach Boulevard would have less of an impact and reduced costs. Yes, Redondo between, Marine and MBB.
Oh, okay.
Okay, moving on. So the next item is a commemorative city lapel pin. So again, a 250th lapel pin could be distributed as a commemorative item through the city. Based on quantity, these prices range, just to give you an idea, it's approximately $5 for 5,000, $75 for 500, then it goes up to about $3.15 for an order of 100. Moving on to the poster contest, concept. This was presented to staff as a potential partnership with a service organization, and based on the time frame, on the limited time frame, we recommend administering that poster contest in-house. We would submit a call for entries to the city's website. Entries would be judged by an external panel. Again, it could be community members, that could be a service group. And the finalists would be recognized or could be recognized at the Salute to the Troops event. And then we could also distribute free commemorative posters at that event. The staff cost would be approximately 50 hours, so it would be about $1,000. And we could print them in-house on glossy 11 by 17 paper, maybe a little bit more elegant if we farmed it out to a printer, and that would probably be another additional $1,000. So moving on to American flag light pole banners. Again, attached to the staff report, you have the call out of 71 utility pole locations throughout the city. The cost to reinstall flags at those locations is approximately $2,000. For the Polywog Park Amphitheater, it has 14 different locations with dual posts for 2 flags. The replacement cost would be $522 per post, depending upon the condition of the existing hardware, which would include 2 flags. And then any additional installations is a general cost estimate. Again, I know there was some discussion about highlighting previous U.S. presidents. That would be $260 per location. Moving on to the water tower, the concept of painting the water tower logo. This would be a CIP and a cost of $1.2 million. Wouldn't be significant, or excuse me, would not be feasible to complete in 2016.
Just you up there. Just you up there on a rope.
With a cable and.
Come on, Mark. Be a team
We don't need
player.
scaffolding. We don't
Be a team player.
Maybe the Tiger flyover squadron can like drop, yeah.
Could drop some paint. I like that. That's a great idea. So based on that dollar amount, there was an alternative option proposed at a lower cost, which would be temporary uplighting on the water tower using red, white, and blue lighting. So Public Works did reach out to the vendor, Utopia, which is an existing city contractor. So the estimate for that for the entire month would be $29,000 and $15,000 for 1 week. And that would be for the installation and deinstallation.
Still a lot.
Wow.
Sorry.
Could I bring an extension cord with an uplight?
Get some holiday
From the Christmas lights? You can
I mean, honestly, I do own uplights.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway.
So, but we did flesh that out, and we have a cost here. So moving on to the Ferris wheel concept in the Lower Pier parking lot. This was proposed. So the dimensions of this, the Ferris wheel is 45 feet high. This would have red, white, and blue lighting. The proposal was in the Lower Pier parking lot. A local vendor was contacted. Actually, we contacted a few. We did find the one that was available. It would be for July 5th. It would be approximately $12,000, including delivery, rental, generator, and staffing. Once again,
Per day?
per day. Correct. Thank you for that clarification. And again, this is another one we would need general liability insurance requirements, and that is not included in the cost. Impacts for the closure of the lower pier lots would result in parking meter revenue loss of approximately $3,000 per day, reduced available parking for visitors and downtown business patrons, would not likely be supported by the California Coastal Commission. We also did hear from Kelly at the Downtown Business Professionals Association. They do not support this location, again, due to the impacts on the downtown. Alternative locations could be explored, such as Polywog Park. Moving on to the mobile American history exhibit. So we did reach out. Unfortunately, there is no availability in our area. Again, we'll continue to monitor that, but it does not look promising. So in conclusion, staff seeks direction on each of these anniversary plans and funding considerations. And then upon City Council direction for each of these plans, we'll pursue sponsorship to offset costs whenever possible. That concludes my presentation. I'm open for any questions.
I have some initial questions, but I want to defer to my colleagues.
It's a great presentation, actually.
Thank you for pulling this together in short time. I wanted to better understand the timing here. It's ambitious to begin with. We're in March. We're talking about July. I just want to make sure we're understanding the staff capacity to be able to implement some of these issues. And then second, several of these proposals anticipate having younger adults participate. And if this is an event in July, I'm just wondering, are school kids going to be in town? Granted, many communities have annual 4th of July parades, but they often involve younger children. But I'm just trying to anticipate some of the challenges staff may have in having younger adults participate. So 2 questions for you.
Yeah, understood, and I think this is where we're seeking direction on each individual item from City Council. These are really conceptual in nature, and so I think digging into each item, we can talk a little bit about staff resources. Yes, absolutely, it will be a challenge in terms of staffing these and turning them around. There's a lot of intricacies based on the direction, and then I can give you more feedback, as we're going through each of these items and, seeking council direction on each of the items.
One other specific question. We all sort of joked a little bit about the uplights for the water tower. It's a good idea. I give staff credit for thinking about it, but I'm wondering, to what extent could we explore other contractors? Because that price point seems rather high.
So, excellent point, and I think because we are scrambling and trying to get as much information to you as quickly as possible, I'm sure there's alternate vendors. Again, this was the existing city contractor, and so we knew we had a contract in place that we could move forward with quickly. So, of course, we could explore additional options.
Great, thank you. Councilmember Charnay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As far as the uplighting, I think, the price of $12,000, was it? 29 to 15,000 sounds a lot. Do we already have existing places around City Hall where we have uplight that we can have red, white, and blue projected? Do we have anywhere existing?
We do not, but that would be much less expensive.
And then, as far as the parade option, it sounds very expensive as well. On the operation requirements with the additional PD, CSC, fire staffing, and public works, this is in addition to what we normally have for concerts in the park, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and I know with World Cup being in town and some of our public safety resources, some of that is already dedicated to just in and around the city, as I understand it, dealing
Correct.
with World Cup crowds.
Absolutely, and I know the chief has addressed this. There definitely is a concern with having the resources available.
Okay, thank you. And I love the idea of the city lapel pin. Is it possible, and I'm asking this for my fellow council members as well, to have a branded U.S. Constitution with City of Manhattan Beach? That would be amazing. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Great. Councilmember Sherwood.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mark. I too share some of the mayor's comments earlier about timing. We're getting into the spring here, so time is moving fast, and there's a question in here somewhere. Are what we just modified in the Public Art Trust Fund ordinance? Is there any of it that could be potentially used for these?
Yes, I think for sure. The concerts, probably the additional resources needed for the concerts in the park, and even, again, potentially the poster contest as well, although that's a really low dollar amount.
The Squadron, like Tiger Squadron?
Not for...
No. Okay, yeah, and I too, with time being of the essence, we start, even with the lapel pins, if we get those in, we're only gonna have 13, 14 meetings that we can actually use them until the end of the year. Potential, maybe we can carry them over for next year. But that's something that I want to my colleagues, once we get there, this is more of a comment that we can move along on something like that. I would have liked to see some renderings, but obviously, we can't see the renderings, but time is of the essence, I think, of being able to do that. But that's my comment and question, I think.
Thank you. Councilmember Hobart.
I have more of a comment on the process, which is, I think when we do come back after public comments, we should kind of, I feel like there's some we can probably say yes quickly to and no quickly to. I don't think we need to belabor it. And so, I would like to encourage that. And I would hope that, to your point, Councilmember Shirley, there's no renderings for the PIN yet because we hadn't approved that we wanted to do it. So once we approve that we want to do it, there's still time to come back. And a question for Councilwoman Tournay. I know I went to a play once and they handed out little booklets with the Constitution. So is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
like a little pamphlet.
Little pamphlet, and then.
With the City of Manhattan Beach,
Yeah, that would be a great thing to add in there, and that would, I'm sure someone would, that's a great thing to hand out. I love that idea. So anyway, I'll make more comments later, but yeah, I'll make comments.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Franklin.
Yes, great. Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, team, for putting this together. It's my apologies to our residents is that, this is so late in planning. Even though, we kind of knew about it, but time was slipping, so that's why I suggested this, that we discuss, that we do something. The American flag light pole banners, aren't there already existing flags up in Polywog? I thought I saw flags up there already.
Correct, yeah, yes. We, the 14 locations, I'd have to double check with Sean. I know we put them up and take them down throughout the year on various dates that are called out within the contract.
Okay, got it. The water tower logo is, I was thinking maybe more along of, like some sort of wrap, that could be temporary, I don't know what the texture of the paint feels like up there, but if, we just were in a parade in Hermosa and there was these signs that could just be attached to your metal side of on your car. And
the wrap actually was considered. It's a lot of the cost is the prep work and the scaffolding.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then also just want to echo on the my colleague's suggestion about talking to another, vendor, for the lights, because that would be rather, impactful, is to do that there if it's affordable. I think we're just going to have to. Well, actually, one last thing I'd like to see on the Ferris wheel is I know Hermosa has put up a Ferris wheel in their plaza. So have we talked to that particular vendor?
Actually, we just reached out to them today. We have not heard back yet.
Okay, all right, great.
But
So
I know we've talked to two previous other vendors that we reached out to just check on availability. But again, we're just confirming
Okay.
this may be the same company, it may be a new
yeah,
company.
and having it at the park is fine. I was thinking maybe we could think about 400 MBB, but I don't think it's going to be big enough area to accommodate that.
That would be extremely tight.
Yeah,
I would
okay.
recommend that.
It just make a nice visual when you come into town. But the mobile American history exhibit, are there like kits available or something? Is that what we're looking at, or? I mean, so you said that some were not available, or?
Again, I know the team reached out on that, but my understanding was that it's at various locations. It basically just follows a route, and that they weren't coming near Manhattan Beach. And I know they were, I think all the other locations were already spoken for.
Yeah, okay, all right, so we can scratch that. Let's see, was there anything else? Talked about the flyover. I can kind of see the parade just isn't going to happen for all the different reasons. So I would say we can kind of scratch that because it's going to be logistically very difficult. The only other thing I was thinking is just, actually having a parade in Polywog, where they can go along those wider sidewalks. So if you were to start it back where, what is that, Premier Field is the baseball field?
Correct.
Right there? So kind of stage it there, and then kids love parades. We had the opening of the Little League, and the kids kind of like that, right? They're always smiling and racing back and forth. So just something that could be simple, and it would end up then, all the participants in the parade would stay there for the concert or something like that. But I wouldn't overly do it,
Okay.
because of the summertime schedule.
So maybe that's for our council discussion. Do you have a question in that?
Yeah. Oh, okay, no, just, the only question I was asking was, do we do it or not? And it just doesn't seem like it.
Okay, maybe we talk about that
Yeah,
during,
okay.
when we close it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. In which case, if there's no other council questions, I'll open this item for public comment.
One public.
Stefan.
Maybe I should use a pseudonym for this one. Good evening again. You know who I am.
Steve.
All right, so yeah.
Steve.
I'll be
Steve.
reading for a moment. Well, I have my little soapbox I always go to, and it's always kind of asking the purpose here. So we had a lot of great ideas we just heard, and what I was trying to figure out was, what do I test those ideas against? What are we trying to achieve here? So are we trying to educate people on the 250th anniversary, what it's all about? Are we trying to build a sense of community? Are we trying to build more community out of this? Are we trying to create a sense of pride? Are we trying to generate downtown business traffic? Or are we just trying to provide entertainment? And if so, for who? So those ideas need to be tested against something to be able to say, are they good ideas or not? And I would really like to hear the council's view on what you want this to be. What are we trying to do here? I also understand the FIFAs at the same time. That's a big competition. So whatever we do, that's going to be a big competition. The third one is, we've talked about the mayhem on the beach around 4th of July. And that's going to happen again this year, as it does every fun year, right? So that means our police force up here is going to be stretched 6 ways to Sunday on FIFA and the beach. So please take in consideration those demands and the cost that we would have to bring in additional services. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public in chamber, please? Hi.
Marie called me. I kind of hate to add anything to the discussion here, but I'm wondering if we could light the roundhouse like we do at Christmas. Just an idea. But I hate to add more, but that was just a thought. Thank you. And happy for whatever you guys come up with. It'll be a nice addition to the celebration.
Thank you. Any other members of the public other than staff that would like to comment on that? And staff are welcome too. In which case we move on to Zoom. Martha, anybody on Zoom that would care to comment on this item?
No request on Zoom.
In which case I'll close public comment and turn over to my council colleagues, beginning with Councilmember Haworth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Stefan, I think I liked your question, like, why are we doing this? Is it, we're proud, proud, 250 years. Entertainment, do we need more entertainment right now? I mean, with the concert, that's certainly entertainment. Education, to educate people, build community. And I think those are all good questions. And so I'll try to approach some of my comments to each idea. I mean, I think we should go down. I think, so we're already doing the July 5th concerts in the park, which is a Sunday, correct? And again, that was another excellent point. We know how 4th of July, the day itself, and then the weekend is on the beach. So I would not be in favor of any kind of parade, even because of that. But obviously, the concerts in the park, I'm totally interested in the, adding the cost of the Tiger Squadron flyover. That certainly shows, pride and is entertaining, and people love that. I guess the participation by the historic and patriarchal.
Freudian slip.
Patriotic, that really was a slip. Patriotic organizations, sure. I guess that's, is educational. I kind of love the idea of, dressing up in garb, having a booth,
You're welcome to join them.
No, I'm not a daughter of the American Revolution. I was very sad because my family's we're too much immigrants. I don't qualify. You have to qualify. So I can't join them. I do like a dress-up, thank you.
That's what I mean.
I know, so I'm not in favor of the parade, and nobody loves the parade more than I do, but I think just for all the reasons mentioned. The commemorative city lapel pin, yes, I think we should do one all the time, every year. Bling and parades. The poster contest, I love this idea. I think you'd get it started, depends on staff. Like, first what I want to do is say, here's what I like, and then if we have to narrow things down because of staff time, we can do that. But yes. American flag on the banners, or of course, if there's extra banners. Water tower logo, no. And also lighting it up, I appreciate valid, good questions. Are there any other vendors? But, who sees that? You don't see it that often.
East Manhattan.
Yeah, East Manhattan, but it's not like, if we're spending money on this, I'd like it to be something that is seen more. And I love Marie's idea about lights on the roundhouse. That's just charming and amazing and wonderful. So I would add that to the mix, and I would say that instead of the water tower, although I come from a place with a visible water tower that we lit up in 1976. And we could look into uplighting City Hall, although does this building really need uplighting? I don't think so. I like the lights on the roundhouse. I'm not in favor of a Ferris wheel, even in Polywog. It's $12,000 a day, but that does not include insurance. And I really worry about that. So I would add to it getting costing on the Little Constitution. I think that's a fantastic idea. I guess I'm leaning towards education and bling. So those little pamphlets, and I would like that idea. And adding the lights to the roundhouse. I don't know what's going on up here. So if we could. If that helps at all, like if everybody maybe goes down and says, and so we get consensus on, yeah, we like these ideas, and then staff says, well, wait, this is going to take too much time, I think that would probably be useful. So I don't know if we're keeping track. I will start if you'd like. I will be honest. Those are what I like.
Very good. Thank you. Councilmember Tarnay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to quickly go through the list. And I like the fact that we're going through all of this and finding ways to best celebrate our 250th year. And I think the best way to do it is to kind of, and I've used this term before, zhuzh up concerts in the park and make it more festive. I think we already have the infrastructure there, so it's probably the best approach to just add on to the production, including maybe inviting the choir, the Maricosta Choir, the Maricosta Band to play. We heard them today. They're fantastic. If not, they're not busy. I know 4th of July is a busy weekend. So I like the flyover. And maybe I could propose having copies of the Constitution printed up as handouts for this event so that if attendees have a commemorative copy and we're not giving it to everybody, maybe the first 500 people who show up. Lapel pins, yes. The light up option, instead of doing the water tower, which is more logistically difficult and expensive, maybe consider lighting up parts of City Hall or the Roundhouse, as suggested by Marie. And no to the parade, unfortunately. I do love a good parade. And no to the Ferris wheel. And then going through our pole banners and reinstalling those and then fixing the ones that need to be fixed. I think that's all I have on my list. Thank you.
The poster?
Oh, the poster. Yes, on the poster if we have the capacity for that.
Okay. Any other colleagues before I go? I'm happy to defer to my colleagues first, and I can clean up. Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, okay. So I like the list. that Councilmember Tarnay and Haworth made, so I'm going to use that template. So, yes, all focus on the July 5th concerts in the park, salute to the troops, the Tiger flyover, yes. The Sons of American Revolution and Daughters of the American Revolution, yes. Bye-bye parade. We'll have to think of that for another day. You know, and since we're making comments, I'll just hold here for a second. Why I think this is so important is, I don't know if I want to see a raise of hands, who was here for the 1976 and, you know, bicentennial, but it's quite a special event, and it's very educational, right? Was that 200 years? Yeah, that was 200 years. And so just to give kids the opportunity, like I was not a little bit older than a teenager then, but it is rather special. We live in a unique country. It's I personally feel it's doing well. I know there's little hiccups along the way, but it's to be celebrated, it's to be appreciated, it's to be taught to the younger generation. Per Stefan's comments here, is that it's an education thing. Kids love this kind of stuff, and I think some education would rub off in the process. The military bands, I don't know where that was on the list, but yeah, because I think they do it at no cost, right? And yeah, and there's and they're very good at what they do. The lapel pin, yes. The poster contest, yes. The pole banners, yes. If I could maybe also suggest that maybe for that weekend is to have the flags that are along the Strand, the ones where we have the pole holders already. I think we accommodate about 20 on each side, north and south of Manhattan Beach Boulevard. That's a very dramatic exhibit down there. The water tower, no. Ferris wheel, do you remember on the Centennial, we tried to get one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only thing I would like to ask is, let's just find out, if it's easy, doesn't take a lot of time, who her most beach users and what that quote might be. So maybe to defer that. And the mobile American history exhibit just took care of itself because it's nothing's available. Unless we have industrious residents that want to, you know, put something together. Was there anything else to decide on?
Constitution.
Oh, the constitutions, of course.
The roundhouse.
Oh, yeah, the roundhouse lighting, that's perfect. That take care of so much. Yeah. And you volunteered, right, to be on the top?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Lady Liberty.
That's right, oh, yeah, there you
Whoa,
go.
I like that.
Even better, because it's a water approach to the city. I like it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Sherwood.
Yes to everything that my colleague said. So
Look at
the
that.
only thing I would say is if we can just, you know, see some renderings of the lapel pins, and if we can get those ordered so we can get them out, so they're not stale by the time. Oh, great. Nina's offered to help. So that's all I got. And I'll agree with my colleagues, and I'm not going to go down the list and yes, no, but I do like what Mayor Pro Tem said about getting the flags on the Strand. I think that's a low-hanging fruit, and love the
Agreed.
the pier idea of the light, but nothing more. Thank you.
For my comments, to articulate a goal, why? I think I would say everything we've been talking about is community building. It's an opportunity to bring our community together, to celebrate our nation's history, and try to do it outside the divisive politics of our time. I wish we'd talked about it a little earlier to give a little bit more lead time, but the idea of trying to not add to the burden on staff and come up with these ideas, I think is a positive one, and it's an opportunity for bringing our community together. That's the goal. I agree with everything that's been discussed so far. I'm not sure if I need to repeat what has already been said multiple times. I'm grateful to our member public who suggested the roundhouse, because there is an opportunity of something that we already have and something that we've already done, we already do. So it's not as large of a lift as some of these other items. I am in favor of trying to get additional quotes about the water tower, because for many other residents of our community besides the east side, you can see it. It's a prominent fixture, and at night, I'd like to at least see what the cost might be if we had another vendor do it. But
Let's
I'm
see if
not
that's
wed
in the
to it.
motion.
Okay, so I'm sensing that there might be a motion here. I look forward to hearing your motion. Councilmember Haworth?
Wait a minute, I lost my vote cast. I had a question, well, okay. No, the question, okay, so flags on the Strand, is that something we're doing anyway with the 4th of July, or?
Correct, yes.
Okay,
Public Works
great.
installs and deinstalls.
Great, because that was really nice. Okay, so here's the motion, listen up.
What?
Councilmember Haworth?
Well, I'm gonna make a, yeah, oh, wait. Our city manager would like to.
I just wanted to ask a question before the motion was made. Is there an interest on the part of the council to sell the lapel pins for if someone from the public wanted to purchase it? And then also copies beyond the 500 that was mentioned for the Constitution, if people wanted to purchase those from the city store? Is that something the council was interested in doing?
I have an idea. So I like where you're going. Do we want to design a T-shirt that could be sold in the city store?
Instead?
Yeah.
Because Krista might really enjoy that.
We can.
You can ask,
use
I mean.
potentially the same design that's selected.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a couple, yeah, so that could be. 'Cause
We'll check on the lead times.
Yeah, to check on the lead times, right, okay, so that would be, so here's the old motion. All right, so, appreciate all of this coming forth. All right, I'm gonna go down the list. I make a motion to support the 250th anniversary of our United States with the following items. In addition to our salute to the troops, the Tiger Squadron flyover, participation by historical and patriotic organizations, the printing of 500 to 1,000 constitutions for concerts in the park, commemorative city lapel pin to be given away, our American flag lights on the existing flag locations and in Polywog Park Amphitheater as outlined in the staff report, sorry. Lights on the roundhouse. I said banners, I said flags on the Strand, flags, Historical Society, and poster dependent upon staff. I'd like staff to report back on the poster, and if they can do that. And that, and the design, the potential design of a T-shirt and hat to be sold in the store. Merch. And so that's my motion. And that does not include, go ahead.
You read it.
That doesn't include the looking at another vendor for the water tower, and it doesn't include a Ferris wheel quote. So just to.
Does it include a pink pony?
Always a pink pony.
I see that a motion, aside from the pink pony, has been seconded by Councilmember Tarnay.
Can I just ask?
Councilmember Sherwood.
Sorry, quick question. I think Councilmember Tarnay, or may have been the mayor, that said something about looking at the city hall lights. Is that a part of your, that's low hanging fruit? I mean.
Were you going to say something about, no?
If we have existing, I think.
We don't have
If we don't
existing.
have existing, then I don't need that
We don't
as
have
part of the
existing.
motion. I like the roundhouse,
Yeah.
since that's already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions? In which case, call for the question.
It definitely feels more special, though.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Which case we move
Thank you,
on
Joe.
to, thank you, Councilmember Haworth, for
Very excited.
packaging all these items up. Let's move on to item
L, which is City Council requests and reports, including AB 1234 reports. Are there any AB 1234 reports? Seeing none, we'll move on to item M, future agenda items.
Yeah.
Councilmember Councilmember Howard.
Yeah, I'd like to bring forward a merry-go-round for the 250th, because then there'd be a pony on the merry-go-round, and, okay.
Pink
Just
pony.
kidding.
Don't look at her.
Okay.
Don't look at her.
Don't make eye contact.
Any other future agenda items?
No eye contact.
All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to the city manager report. Is there one?
No report this evening, thank you.
We'll move on to the assistant city attorney report, if one.
No report tonight, thank you.
In which case, there are informational items that are posted on the agenda. There's no closed session for our adjournment announcements. Yes. We'll be adjourning this meeting to a closed session on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026 at 5 p.m. in the City Council chambers. We stand adjourned.